I need something like Randolph to know that. And the whole point of the process is to do something different. So,
hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We're giving you guys part 2 of our super panel, and we're going to be breaking some more of the episode down. So it's going to be another one of those kind of conversations where we touch on different subjects on what happened. We're dealing with Mike and Brandy and Kayla. We're dealing with Randall and Jamala. We'll touch a little bit back on Justice as well, because there was some dates with him, Looney and LJ. As well, we'll touch on those dates again a little bit deeper. So we're gonna touch on a few things once more for part 2. So if you missed part 1, unfortunately, listen, go and watch it again. But part 2 is gonna be nice. It's gonna be explosive, and I'm gonna do an impromptu segment on this part. Okay, the first maybe 10-15 minutes. Okay, because I feel like I need to talk about this particular subject. Okay, because sometimes people get things wrong. Okay, oh, so I say it wrong. Let me say it wrong. People sometimes feel some type of way about sometimes the work that we do on this YouTube, and so I want to make it very, very clear. We're going to talk about some things. So let's break down some things today. So if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor: like it, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the what up lows. And for those of you who are returnees, really know what it is. You have got the minerals. Okay, cool. So I just want to quickly talk, it's probably like for 10-15 minutes, I want to talk about this particular subject, because I feel like every season it comes up. Every season it comes up, and it's come up several times this season, trust me, okay? I don't talk about a lot of stuff. I get messages from people, and they'll be like, that's not how it looks, that's not how it looks. I want to just say this. I want to talk about editing, okay? Editing on the Ready to Love show, okay? Because every season, okay, we have the same things. One, I didn't watch last season, so I didn't know it was going to be like this. Number 2, we have edits. They edited me in a particular way. That's not how I am. Da, 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 da. Okay. So I want to address this as a content creator, because the third part is people don't know. They judge us only on a few seconds clip. That's life. I'm not rude. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm going to be real. That's life. When you talk to someone for 2 minutes, you make a judgment. Yeah? You make an instant judgment. If they're rude to you in those 2 minutes, you don't start thinking, oh, maybe they had a bad day. Maybe their mum passed away or something. Maybe something. You don't think that. You think, you're rude. I've just met you. I don't like you now. So do you know what? I'm not going to be trying to be around you. Your energy is negative. Guess what? You've made a judgment in 2 minutes. We do the exact same thing on the internet. We do the exact same thing when we watch Ready to Love. We have 45 minutes, and you're probably barely in it. And this is to everybody on the cast, by the way. This is me telling to everybody in the cast, because sometimes I'll be getting messages about its editing. And I wanted to say this. They are going to edit a portion of your behavior. It's not all of you. All right? It's not all of you. It's a portion of your behavior. And oftentimes they highlight negative parts of your behavior. If they put me on that show, you're going to get some pieces of me that you ain't going to like. Okay? I'm probably going to be rude. There's parts of me going to be condescending. There's parts of me that's going to be arrogant. There's parts of me that's going to be, I'm going to be making analyzations. I'm probably thinking too much. There are going to be things that are going to be negative. And guess what? You got to own it. Because you've done it. And it is you. And I think every season we have the same issue, which is like it's not me. No, it's you. Like, you did it, right? And so, I just wanted to just highlight this for anybody who's gone on to Ready to Love this season, and then who's gone on to the next season. I say it every single season. Editing is only going to take a portion of your behavior. We are talking about a portion of your behavior. It does not mean you're overly bad. Does not mean you're an evil person. But it's talking about a portion of behavior, right? But if we see that behavior coming up several times on the season, where 7 episodes in, and we see it once, twice, maybe 3 times, after a while you're going to have to accept that this is actually your behavior. This is not just not a one-off. The camera didn't catch you off guard. It's your behavior, and that's okay. It's okay. Computer frozen me there for a sec. My computer frozen me for a sec. But it's just me just saying, listen, I think editing sometimes gets a bad rep, because every time they say editing is but I wanted to see what was your, I don't know, Jay, what was your thoughts to editing being a subject on Ready to Love before we break into this topic on the show and stuff?
I mean, every single show has editing. Okay. And you going on to reality shows, some of it has a little bit of scripting. There's going to be editing. You're going to get an edited version of yourself. But a lot of times that's what people give you back when they tell you about yourself. It's their perception. It's their edited version of you. And if you're just seeing it, all I say is just look at it and see how you're coming off to people. Listen to the comments that we're giving, see how you're coming off to people. Because if a bunch of people from different platforms or different blogs or different sites are kind of saying the same thing, granted, it could be just because of editing, putting it down, that highlighting that little portion of it. But like you said, if it's the same thing over and over and over, we keep getting that same edited thing over and over. That's you. Take it, do what you want with it. If you don't you comfortable with that part of you, keep it. If there's something else about you that says, you know what, I don't really like what I'm seeing, fix it. You grow. That's all it is. Don't complain about it. Don't sit here and say it's editing. You signed up for a TV show. There's editing involved. We're not going to always get a edit that we want unless we're producing the show. And sometimes they still don't get the edit. Shawnee produced her own show, and sometimes she still didn't get the edit she wanted. She didn't get the favorable look on some of the stuff that she wanted, and that's her show. But you got to see. If I'm saying reality TV, I want to see reality. I want to see you. And it's not to sit here and make somebody feel bad or pick at something. When we're us, this group right here is editing. Most of the time we're doing it to show other people in the world some of their behaviors. I relate it to myself a lot of times because I do some of these things. I have done some of these things.
Same.
I'm still learning. Sometimes when I watch these people, I'll be like, ooh, I might need to fix that. I've done that before. So it's like it's not to be a mean critique. We really are out here trying to highlight some of the things that we do as a community that we don't necessarily talk about. We don't have these conversations in our family all the time to say, hey, you know what, this behavior that you're doing right now might not work in a relationship setting. You might want to fix that. We just push our kids out the nest and say fly. But I'll stop there.
That's cool. That's cool. I don't know if Sean or Siwe have any thoughts to edit. Oh, Siwe, open her mic quick.
Let me know if the background noise is too loud. But I agree with everything that Jay said. I do think, though, that Ready to Love has a bad habit of not just editing, but cutting and splicing people's words. And I do think that is wrong. And I do think they do that more than most reality TV shows. And so you really cannot get the context of what people are saying. And that takes it beyond editing. But like Jay said, and like you said, Kojo, if people are catching you doing the same thing in multiple scenes, having the same type of behavior, as well as people on your show who are seeing you in real life having a problem with you, then that's not just editing. And that would be a cop-out. So, I mean, I definitely understand their pain of having their words cut and spliced. I don't think that's fair to the people on the show. But you can't blame everything on editing. Everyone has to be accountable. Like,
Looks like editing took her out.
You about to splice in some words for?
It's fast. Just as she was making a grand finale on her point, she gonna regret that. I'm gonna edit that out. Watch, Sean. What's your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, no, very similar. The only thing I would say is like, there's never been anybody, and we interact with a fair amount of certain people on the own, network, the cast, right? Has there ever been anybody that was 180 degrees different from what they appeared to be on TV?
No, not I'm aware of.
No, right? For the most part, yes, can they take a word and a sentence and put it in a different place to make it come off like a different reaction? But people aren't so far apart from themselves. I think the hardest part is, and we talk about this in so many different ways right here, is that people struggle with accountability. So when folks start calling out their behavior, instead of hearing it, they want to defend. And this is just human nature. So sometimes when somebody calls us out for something, instead of sitting back and looking at it, they want to blame somebody else, right? And we know there's plenty of people. It's not new. Every season, just like you said, they say, oh, I look like this. It's not right. I got the villain cut. I got this cut. You know, this person, they got the good person cut because they seem nice. Well, it's probably because they interact well with production. So guess what? Based on their interactions with production, you're going to get a preferential treatment. And that happens in real life, right? So if I'm rude to the people in my work environment, right? Or if I'm a little short with them, or if I don't take the time to talk, in a very specific way, guess what? That's going to impact how people treat me, react to me, and that's going to affect the work product. So in this environment, sometimes people come in and they bring that energy, and that energy impacts the way you get treated as well. So I'm like, look, at the end of the day, it's a reality show. Don't walk up on here telling me, I thought this was all about empowerment and love and fairies and Oprah. Shut up. Shut up. Because you're dumb. Like, that is not what reality TV is. Name me one reality show that's rainbows and unicorns floating around and talking about, let's kumbaya. That's not where it's for entertainment. They don't even want to watch that kind of show. So there's going to be drama infused. There's going to be some rat-tat-tat-tat. That's what it comes with. So I'm just like over the grown people talking about, I had no idea. I thought it was Dancing with the Stars. It's not. It's not Disney on Ice. It's a dating reality show, and y'all going to be tussling. And we're going to see it. And I'm done.
I'm probably behind the scenes on Disney on Ice. They probably fighting too.
Sean is showing us why he'd get a villain edit straight away. He's showing us why he'd get a villain edit straight away. If he gets a villain edit, he cannot complain. He just be going straight with it, But no, I mean, and that's honestly, it's the reality of and do you know what it is what's so beautiful, what everyone just kind of said as well, and what you touched upon, Sean, as well, is it's an encapsulation of what life really is. Because like you're saying, how we and someone put it in the chat as well, right? And I think we mentioned it, Sean, remember early last season about Joy. We said that's that one moment where she cussed out Demetrius. We said, guys, this person, they're not as cute as they're making out to be. Not to say that everyone was against that. Some people were for it, some people were against it. But we said just that one thing is telling me that there's a different person underneath that hood. It gets to the end of the season, it don't matter how much editing they do, eventually the real person came out. You can do, listen, if that camera's going to do you for 10 weeks, eventually you are going to come out because you're going to get comfortable. And the real you's going to come out. Now, unless you're a master manipulator, okay, all right, of the highest order, which most people ain't, you going to come out on camera who you are. You know what I mean? And so, so it's so interesting to see that, because, like I said, and you're saying right, we've had interviews with people all the time, and rarely, I don't think there's anyone who has come out and done a complete 180. People have done a better job than what we've shown on the screen, where we're like, actually, do you know what? You're not as bad as what we saw on the screen, or maybe, you know what, this was different. But to a complete 180, like, oh my God, we completely had you wrong and they did you dirty. And you know what? Grab that editor right now because he needs to be shot. It doesn't happen. And let me tell you this now. If I'm on that show, I'm telling you now, if I'm on reality TV, you will not see me the same way you see me on this particular platform. I already know if they get the bad parts of me, they're going to get the calculating, they're going to get the person who likes drama. I like a bit of drama. I'm going to lie to you. I like a bit of drama, guys. I will be out here I'll be doing all that kind of stuff. I said, if I go and Big Brother, you're going to know I'm a mole. I'm going to become a mole. Give me the villain edit. I want it. You understand? So you're going to form a different opinion of me because they're going to show the aspects that are going to make the best TV. And sometimes, and not even sometimes, most times, that best part is the dark part of you. It's the part that you maybe don't want to accept, or the part that you know is there, but it's difficult to change, Sean is very direct. They get him on there, they're gonna finish him. Okay, they're gonna finish Sean with a villain edit. They're gonna get Sean on a villain edit. He's just giving everybody pa 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 pa. They're gonna get him. Okay, so I'm just saying to anybody out there, listen, if you're going to do Ready to Love, please, number one, why are we going on TV shows not watching past seasons, or at least one past season? It is abysmal to think that you're going to go on a show that you've never researched it. You're doing yourself a disservice. Why would I go on a show and I've never researched it if there is prior evidence of the show? Go for it, Seaway.
Because that's a lie. They're saying that to look like, oh my God, I don't even watch reality TV. Like, it's cap. They've seen the seasons, at least one.
Yeah. Oh, Sampson said something from Ready to Love. Look at you there. He said, Sean should have landed the year, paraphrasing it. If you get along with people in real life, you'll get along with people on the show and production, and like you get a preferential treatment. Facts. There you go. There you go.
That
We appreciate you, Sampson.
That's Sampson.
Samson, see, we've got questions for you, sir. If you want to come on here, Samson, I saw you went on to Sabrina. If you want to come on here and address some certain things, sir, it's a safe space. We want to see you, Samson. If you want to come on here, see, we're just going to ask you some questions, okay? Just a few, okay? I mean, I know you can handle yours, you know what I mean? But if you want to come in,
a safe space. Definitely.
It's definitely a safe space, but Siwa's got a few questions for you that she wants to ask you, sir. So if you want to, just put a little comment in the chat. We'll definitely invite you on. I'll give you the link, and you can come and say a few things about the episodes past. We know you can't talk about the future, but the episodes past, okay? Because Siwa got some questions for you, okay? All right? Siwa got some questions for you. Baby! All right, cool. All right, cool. Beautiful stuff. All right, let's get into the show then. Let's talk about some stuff that happened on the show. Let's talk about the first date, which was Jamala and Randall, who's your daddy. He said that she is his best friend, or becoming his best friend. So let's have a look.
I like her on a romantic level, right? But she actually feels like my best friend type of deal. And that's always something that I look for.
I'm your BFF.
I mean, you would.
So cute. I love that. What's your thoughts? Oh, Sean, instant no. Why? Talk to me, Sean.
I don't know. I mean, look, I'm just going to use my, blind eyes and what I see. It just doesn't seem kind of like authentic to me. Like, best friend, how long you guys known each other? Like, best friends. Like, I don't know about you. Maybe it's just me, and I'm looking at it through my lens. But I'm not fitting to call nobody my best friend that I know for a few weeks, right? So at the end of the day, it just seems a little kind of like I'm just trying to slide the right word in there. And one of the other dates that he was on, because it seems like Randall is the bee's knees, right? So he was on more, it was like speed dating, meet the friends, meet the family for him. So, he had a little commentary to say about what he wanted to walk into the room like, I see so-and-so here, so I'm going to do X, Y, Z. So again, it could be the edit, but I just feel like it wasn't like authentic. How do you know her well enough to say she's your best friend? You guys may be talking a lot, talking often, and building a connection, but your best friend, I'm just not buying it. And I'm going to end on, look, if you my best friend, then I'm going to put my best foot forward, and the basketball shorts, the t-shirts, and the Jordans have a time and a place. If you know me, I have an extensive Jordan collection, but I ain't fitting to wear them trying to see somebody that I'm trying to date, right? So that's what I think.
I'm not using Jordans as a measurement. Appreciate it. All right, Jay, what's your thoughts?
Sean don't be here for nobody. I just want to ask Seaway how long it was before Sean started calling you his best friend. That's all I need to know. I'm about to start some stuff too.
You said a couple more weeks.
Still got a couple more weeks, Sean. No, but I like it. I told y'all I like being friends first. If I'm gonna be in a relationship, I want you to be, you might not be my best friend, but I want us to be friends. I don't know how many friends Randall got. He might not have many, Sean. So that's probably why he's like she my best friend, and at least in this process, yeah, she probably is. So I'll take his word for it. This is his best connection so far. He definitely has mentioned that she's on his top out of the group and everybody else. And I was happy to see the genuine kissing more so this time. Granted, other people have said that it was her that leaned in mostly, but he was still with it. So it is what it is. You know, they've been kissing it up a bit, and it was more comfortable and more relaxed with each other. And I also like the way he even got along with the friends, because he was even like to the friends, oh, you kicking me out already on the first date? I like that. You know, it was kind of just like fun banter. So you kind of want a dude that gets along with your family and your friends when you really serious about somebody. So that's like a good start, at least. So
cool, I love that. Thank you very much, Jay. Yeah, no, I think to myself that, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think he definitely thinks Jamala's cool. I think he, you know, thinks she's a cool girl, and you know, definitely attracted to her. Whether he's attracted enough to make it wifey, I don't know. It's just, for me at the moment, it's just the energy. It's just the energy at the moment where I'm just not. It doesn't feel like he's in there with Jamala. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like he's actually in there. To be honest, it doesn't feel like he's in there with anybody. If I'm honest with you, like at least sometimes when you can see that maybe they're kind of leaning to one or more of the other persons. I mean, I think Jamala's probably ahead of the race out of all the girls. But I just don't see him leaning into her. I don't really see that he actually wants her. It's more of a case of I'm winning, and you know I have three girls on my tail, and you know what? I've got out of the three, I've got one that I would actually prefer rather than actually want. I don't see that desire to want. I see a more desire to prefer, which is slightly different. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Jay.
I got just a quick question. So just want to see where y'all would go. Like if you guys was in this setting and this is what you have to choose from, would you make the best of it and choose from this, or you would just kind of be like, vote me off?
I'd make the best of it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm on TV. I need to make as much as, you know, I need to get to the end as well. I'll be honest with you. See me, I'm gonna try and get to the end. Because, you know, more TV time, my face on there. People remember the people that get at the end. Okay, so, you know, well, if you're memorable. But, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna definitely try and get to the end. So I'm gonna choose what's out there and do the best I can. And at the end of it, I'm gonna be like, baby, you know, this wasn't real. Appreciate you. You know what I mean?
I like the whisper.
You know what I mean? Sean, what are you saying?
Yeah, you know, putting it in that perspective, I see that. And sometimes you got to make the best of a situation. But I think, you know, just like you said earlier, right? And you guys know me at this point, right? I'm fairly direct, so I ain't going to put 10 on 2, though. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna roll up on you and be like, "Yo, you the most beautifulest thing I've seen in the world." You know, baby girl, me and you, we gonna make babies. No, I'm not gonna do all of that. You know, but I will treat you with respect. We will have a good time, and I will try to navigate the process. But I'm just not gonna be doing the extra. If it's extra, that means I like you, and if it's not extra, then that means it could go either way.
Sean, a little bit. I like that little swag on you, though. You know what I'm saying? I need you to roll up on somebody like that. Yo, baby girl, what's up?
You know, that's the New York in me. You know what I'm saying?
I need to see this in action.
Do a bad thing. You know, like I ain't gonna do all of that if I'm just not feeling you. No.
True that. I get it.
But listen,
that's real.
Kayla's on that cast. I would not be capping. There would be no caps because I would be flirting with her. Now, does it mean that we could be together? That I don't know enough to know, but I would be flirting with her genuinely because I do find her very attractive.
And I think that's the key point as well also, which is, I think, my perspective too. If I find you genuinely attractive, you know, I'm definitely going to flirt. You're going to see a lot of, and again, you're going to see a lot of flirting. You know, so, you know, you might see it, and you might see the show might show my shallowness in my aspect of behavior because all I'm doing is just flirting. You know what I mean? And it's going to have some sensual sexual tones underneath, you know, because, you know, because like I said, if I haven't decided whether I want to be in a relationship with you, that's the best I'm going to work on that level. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that for me would be, I'm making the best of what I can in that particular place. So I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah. I didn't come on TV just to come out early.
feel you.
Mama didn't raise no loser. I'm gonna make sure I get to the end. I mean, gonna have me doing 12-hour shifts on camera and stuff and think I'm gonna quit early.
Okay, here's another question real quick, so before C-Way
Go
come
for
back. So if you're just going along with it, but the girl is showing like real interest in you, how would you maneuver that one?
I'll move it the same way. What do you call it? Maneuvered it. Clifton did. I'm gonna move it the same way. I'm gonna move just like Clifton did. Okay. I'm gonna make a pact. I'm gonna make a deal. Make an arrangement. Okay. And in the end, you know what it is. I know what it is. But you ain't. I'm not gonna come out and be like, oh, I never made an arrangement. I'm like, yes, I made an arrangement. That's what it is, and I had to do what I had to do. Okay. Old girl knew that. I knew that. We all knew that. Do you know what I mean? You know, unless I've agreed to it by saying to her like, hey, you know, you said that we're not going to say anything, then cool, innit? But that's a different story. But I don't mind admitting that, hey, I made a deal. I'm going to make a deal and I'm going to make an arrangement. And like that's what I said. Baby, you know that this wasn't real. Appreciate you. That's it. I'm whispering in her ear. On reunion, don't try to drag me out and try to draw me out because, no, that's because some people will do that. Some people will do that. And that's when, and again, this is when you start to realize that, you know, people's real characters start coming out. You know that both of us, if we've both agreed to an arrangement, you know what I'm saying? And then you go and flip on me on reunion just for TV. I know what kind of person you are. You know what I'm saying? I now know who you are because we agreed on an arrangement. So for me, I'm going to agree on an arrangement. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
What you going to do, Sean?
Yeah, I think there's what happens behind the camera and what happens in front of the camera. So I think for me, yes, I would, you know, have fun with her on camera, but behind the camera, I couldn't do the fake because that's just not who I am, right? So if I'm not truly feeling you behind the cameras, I'm not going to be doing things to entice you and make you feel like you and I are something that we're not. Because that kind of stuff, first of all, it sticks with you and then it comes back to you. So I'm not about that, you know, and I'm not trying to pander to women, but I just don't like doing that to women. I've always been that kind of guy. Like anybody that knows me, if there's somebody that's interested in me, if there's a woman and I'm just not, I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to be disrespectful. I will, you know, maybe if it's like it's not in the beginning, I'll be like, oh, let's see. But if I feel like it's not going somewhere, then I'm going to, you will know.
I mean, I have the potential to get caught up. I'm going to be honest with you. I've got the potential to get caught up in the game. I've got the potential to get caught up in the lights and the camera and the action. So I'm going to just keep it a buck. I can get caught up and I may be having to make an apology at the end. I'm just generally honest. I know that I shouldn't, and I know that I will tell the person at the beginning, hey, I'm not trying to do that. But, you know, my ego, okay, my ego sometimes can flare up. And you know what? Behind the scenes, I know I shouldn't be, you know, having conversations like Clifton said he ain't. He's only having 5-minute conversations. I may be having 25, 30-minute conversations. And, you know, because you just, you know, you fill in the hole right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you fill in the hole right now. So I could potentially have the capacity to get caught up in the lights, the camera, and the action, unfortunately.
I see it now. I'm in between you and Sean. With it because I like to talk. So I'm definitely going to be having conversations on the side, but that might confuse them. But I definitely not going to sit here and be trying to make it feel like it's something more once them cameras is off. We're going to be having conversations, but you going to get like, oh, we just talking conversations. It ain't like, so what you wearing tomorrow? What you got on right now? What you doing? Like, it's not going to be none of that. Now, if I see something that I like, then I might go for it. But if I see nothing, it's an acting job for me. Once them cameras come on, y'all go get all of Jay that is a hot mess. And when the cameras come off, I'm going to be like, okay, cut. And I'm out. Are we rolling? Are we rolling? Oh, okay.
I'm going to get caught up real bad if I do that. I already know.
Don't be all in somebody's
We're
bed.
going to have you go together real bad situation. So what about
Trust me.
ladies? Like, oh, no, we go together. You may be single, but we go together.
Go together.
I don't want that smoke.
John over here fighting him off his head. They rubbing on his head and stuff. This is me.
See, and the thing is, I know me. Yeah, if I'm gonna be acting on camera, it's I can get lost in my role. It's I can literally get lost in my role, and before I know it, I am that person now. So that's why I'm saying that there's a propensity that I have to know myself, that you're gonna be putting reviews out on how dark and how bad Kojo is. And then suddenly he obviously was lying on his YouTube, because clearly look at the stuff he's doing on the screen. And I have to tell you, I'm gonna have to come out and be like, guys, I'm so sorry, but this is my weakness. Unfortunately, if I act, I could fall into my actual role. It's really method acting, and I can really get into it.
Said he's a method actor.
I'm a method actor, and I can really get into my role. And before you know it, like Sean said, we go together, and I don't really mean we go together, but we go together, for that immediate moment. Do you know what I'm saying? But when it's done, suddenly the role is finished. So, yeah.
Sean, he on the phone at night talking about, you want to go over our lines?
Listen, we're giving y'all a sneak peek into the After Dark, and then the rest y'all gonna have to buy a ticket to see. But we be on these after lives. This man be.
We go together. This is what a YouTube. Sorry, Siwe, what were you gonna say? We cut you off.
Not you thinking you Will Smith with this method acting. Look, I don't know. Call it the Sagittarius in me. I can't be acting. I could never be gay for pay. I could never be any of these things. Like, I don't know. I mean, only way I can get around is if both people agree that we're just faking it till we make it. But you already know me. I couldn't be fake on this show. Like, if it wasn't real, I would have to get up off. So I don't know.
Imagine seeing Seaway the dude try to hug Seaway like, get the hell up off me.
Now you know that was for the camera. Get your back. You're doing too much.
Y'all are stupid.
He's all breathing up in your space. Boy, if you don't get your face. This is what we practiced. This is what we said we're going to do on camera. No, we did not. Get your hands. More like.
She'll do the turtleneck. Her head will just be like.
See what it says. She gonna cut brother up. You're gonna cut her brother, okay? Oh man, but no, it's real though. What we're talking about, and again, this is why you have to be self-aware and know yourself, because you could get caught up. And if you do get caught up, you just gotta be honest about it. It's a Clifton Joy situation all over again. You got caught up. You got moving mad. Just admit it and move on. You know what I'm saying? Then because you didn't admit it, you actually got your whole girl now moving mad. You know what I'm saying? Your whole girl's now moving mad. Do you know what I'm saying? And now she's having to do stuff, and that's not the reality of it. Which is you sold her a dream. You didn't tell the full truth, and so it's like you have to know yourself when under what are you like under pressure. You got to really know yourself. What are you like under pressure? If you can get to know yourself how you like under pressure, I've got the ability to snap. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got the ability to cuss somebody out. So I know if they put me under a certain level of pressure, you can get cussed out. Okay, and a real calculated, very cool, condescending, big boy words coming out, kind of cussing. Okay, all right. And then if I'm getting big mad, you might get an FU. You might get an FU and F and off with it as well. So you got to know that you have to that you could go down that lane, and if it gets there, just own it. Own it. If you own it, no one can tell you nothing once you've owned it. You know what I mean? So yeah, the Randall Jamala situation is a very interesting date special, that one. So yeah. Any other thoughts from Randall and Jamala?
Seaway need to drop hers.
Oh yes, go for it, Seaway. Sorry.
Are we just talking about them in general?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on? What's your thoughts about their relationship?
They seem real comfy together. They seem real cute. Jamala's still failing the green line test. But I will say that, they both seem kind of comfortable together more so. They seem real like they've been a couple for a little bit. The best friend thing, I hate when people be talking about, that's my bestie, to friends they just met, dudes they just met. That's not your bestie. Please stop. You do not know that man at all. He does not know her. But I don't know. I mean, I think Randall ain't used to this much attention. So I think he gonna soak this up as long as he can, because this man is getting all the love. I have a personal problem with Randall's attire. I don't know if this is the time. I know Corey talked about that before. I just need him to come to dates appropriately. It was really bothersome.
It's hot in Miami, isn't it?
but his shirts did not fit, and his shorts did not fit, and they were
So
not appropriate for the places that he was at. If you're going to meet somebody, friend, why are you wearing that type of shirt? Why are you wearing them shorts? Like, you're supposed to come presentable. Like, put on your best polo. I don't know. He was not putting his best foot forward. I didn't like that. I don't like that.
We be on the same. We be on the same page, best friend, because we best friends too, right?
Oh yeah, I heard that.
I said that exactly what I said earlier.
Sean went from he ain't having no more female friends. He done put it on the record, so he done said it. But he and now he got me, but he ain't admitted to it yet. So I don't know what I am. He definitely ain't called me no best friend though.
You secretly is though, Seaway. We know we be having conversations.
All right, best friend.
Probably.
I'll be your best friend. Allegedly.
Y'all leave that man and his growth spurt alone. I told you he a late bloomer. He just grew out of his clothes again. Y'all leave him alone.
He's a tall, but I get what you're saying though. It does make an impression and it does make a difference as well. So I'm not against that. Do you know what I mean? That's our boy Randall with the hooch. Who's your daddy shorts, I should say. Let me put it correctly. Who's daddy shorts? All right, cool. Let's move on then. We'll leave Jamala and her alone. Let's deal with obviously Looney and her friend and LJ as well situation.
Top, but I'm not getting the phone calls returned. So I'm like, damn, Looney, what's going on? She don't pick up. She don't answer my calls. I'm like, damn.
Nah, Looney boyed it. I can't lie to you. Looney absolutely boyed it. How is she going to be like... she knew exactly what she wanted to say. Basically, I don't return your calls because I don't like you. Let's just be honest and call it what it is, okay, baby? It's not that you don't pick up your phone. It's not that you don't have phone call. Baby, you don't have time for him. Okay, and that's okay. We've all made these excuses before. We all know it. I'm too busy for you, or we've all made an excuse. We all make these excuses. It's one of our most polite ways to say I don't really have time for you. Rather than just saying it. I get it. It's one of those courtesies of life that is very difficult to kind of navigate. But yeah, she definitely ain't trying to call LJ. Do you know what I mean? What's your guys' thoughts to the Looney and LJ situation though?
I'm gonna say this. Looney, for a person who's looking for a family, looking for a companion, sure makes really a lot of piss poor decisions. You can't make someone be attracted to someone, but she's not even giving this man a shot, and she wants to play injustice in justice face. Looney is a glutton for punishment. She wanted women to talk about you can't find no good man, but they ain't doing nothing to find no good man. So I mean, I don't have no patience for her. She could have gave LJ a shot.
Okay. Sean, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, same here. Like, I have never, and let me know, tell me I'm capping, tell me I'm putting 10 on 2, but I have never interacted with, whether in a dating, romantic situation, or just having a woman as a friend, where there was a guy she was interested in, and he was calling her, and she didn't find a way to call him back or text back. Never, ever, ever. And I do, like, my ex-wife was not a phone person, but trust and believe, we were able to have phone conversations, right? So you do what you want to do with who you want to do it with. And that's my thoughts on her. And then I also think she's kind of giving me vibes of, what's the pretty girl from the Ready to Love DC, Moomin. She reminds me of Moomin. Sweet girl, cute, but bad decision making, and their picker is off. That's what I'm seeing with Looney.
Okay. Cool. Jay?
I can't really say more than what Seaway and Sean done said already. It's interesting though, is that you were okay when he was calling you in the beginning, but now that the person that you're interested in pretends to be interested in you, you don't have no time for him. And like Sean says, it's no way that, especially as a female, as a woman, that a person that we like is calling us and we not picking up the phone or calling them back as soon as we can. We're not that busy. You know what I'm saying? We will prioritize you up in our life any way we can to talk to you, especially if there's text messaging and all this stuff. She would have been hollering if she was into him. So it's kind of one of them same things where we keep telling the women, why do you keep asking why you're not interested in them and why you're not calling me? You already know the answer why. So LJ, in your regards, you didn't have to ask and question why she's not calling you anymore. If I keep calling you, you're not returning my calls, I'm not going to call you no more. That's it. You got to be owing me money for me to keep blowing up your phone. So just move on, LJ.
And can LJ say he got the good guy edit? You know, because that's what it's looking like, right? The good guys get chosen last. So he got the good guy edit. You know, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, well, we spoke on a little bit about his personality, but it's just like Coach O put it last time, and he doesn't have enough edge. It's not enough of that dark mystery about him. Is, you know, we see it all, and a lot of times when you put it all out there of what you are, for most of us that's not ready, we don't want that, because it's easier for us to get something that's not really made for us, and if we mess it up, make that excuse that it was that person. We don't want to take the blame for messing up something good. So that's what I just get out of it. Why everybody keeps passing over him, and I mean, outside of, and he's not. I'm not saying this in a bad way, because he's not a bad looking dude. But everybody has what they like, and as long as he's not what everybody likes, I don't understand why are you passing him up when you're saying you want all of these things. He's been married. He has a child, so he knows about having commitments to things. He's family oriented. You know, he'll serenade you. I don't know what more romance do you want? I don't know. But when you're not really truly ready for something real and what you're saying you want, you go for justices.
And my thing, right, with to add to that is that birds of a feather flock together, because those questions her friends were asking was just very base level. Like, why are you asking me my views on sex? Are you getting to know me? Are you trying to figure out who I am? Am I a good person of character? You know, and it's not even like, and again, it could be the edit, you know, the infamous edit, but like, what was that question? Is she celibate? Is she holding? Because otherwise, I don't understand where that question is placed. And then she starts talking about, they say like, oh, well, what about the Steve Harvey 90 Days? Really? Are people still quoting that book in 2022? Think Like a Lady, Act Like a Man, or whatever the book is called, you know? Like, are we still talking about that? Like, come on. Like, do better. Like, the friend was not giving her good advice. She was selling her up the river and leading her down a path of just some more bad decisions. Now, if this is not ready to love, it's ready to, then, you know, good question to ask. But at the end of the day, let people find their way. You know, at our big grown ages, in our 30s and 40s, we don't need to be like, oh, when I'm hitting it. If it's a vibe, it's a vibe. And if it's not, it's not. Unless we're on two different planes, right? You know, I'm celibate, you're not.
Agree, Sean, especially after that BS foolery that Justice gave her as an answer for that. Like, what was that? I would have
that right there, Jay. Oh, I can mind F you, bro. Really, bro? Come on, do better. Like, sometimes I just want people to do better. Like, do better.
He was definitely mind effing us all in that moment when he said that stuff. I was like, are you serious? And it's not even a good F. I was like, come on, bro.
He was mind masturbating. That's what that was. Because that was nothing.
Y'all, I ain't got that much time before I gotta go, and I see Sampson here, so I want to get to the questions.
See, wait, go for it.
Hi,
Go
Mr.
for it. Hey,
Sampson.
Not
let me
Mr.
unmute you. Sorry,
Sampson.
Cap. How you doing, Cap?
Jay,
What he say?
Say it again, Cap.
Huh?
is it Jai or Jay?
Jay.
Jay, Sean, Kojo, Seaway, what's going on?
Hello.
Good
Hey.
Good evening.
Evening,
Well,
Cap.
well, this is not my show, but I guess since I've been asked to ask the question. So I know I personally gave you a hard time. So I wanted to know a few things.
Yes, of
Because
course.
I want to be fair. I always try to be fair. Now, over the course of the season, you've mentioned a lot of things that gave me pause. A lot of people's hair textures. You seem to bond with Sharice over hair textures. You know, a lot of ethnicity talk. And then you mentioned that your ex-girlfriend was Colombian, the one that you love. Not you writing down. My question was that a bad edit? Are they just constantly showing that you're mentioning all of these, you know, these hair textures, these ethnicities? If not, why is that something that's, you know, important to you? I know that you're biracial, or I don't know if you would call it biracial. I don't know how you call it, but so I understand that it's partially relevant, but I just wanted to know.
I am biracial, half black, half Persian, but I identify as a black man. I always say if you're gonna get pulled over by the cops, how do they see you really, right? I'm a black man through and through. I identify my culture through and through. I'm never going to blame anything on editing, ever. I think they did a great job capturing us, who we are, our personalities, our concepts. That's why I applauded what Sean said earlier on this show regarding how we are in real life with real people. Maybe we are the same way with those that we came across on the show, on the cast, as well as with production. And when you have that type of consistency, it kind of just comes out whether the cameras are rolling or not. And so I do, in defense of some of my fellow cast members, however, there has been a lot of quality conversations that have been edited. But we were told on day one, and this is to your point, Kojo, earlier, when you first introduced the panel this evening, we were all told on day one that the cameras are rolling before we arrive and after we leave. And so we can control what leaves our mouth. But the one thing that production does really well on reality TV that I'm learning is that they keep alcohol around. Liquor is flowing. Wine is flowing. Beer is there. And some people brought their own stuff because they wanted the top shelf, you know. So it's Miami. So we know how to party. We know how to get down. And sometimes we get too loose because the libations are just flowing too heavy. But to see where your point, you said you have limited time. My response to Sharice in that date at the ice cream parlor, it was just a fact. You know, her hair reminded me of my mother's. You know, I've had girlfriends of all different types of hair textures. I'm not a colorist in any way. I went to Morehouse right across the street with Spelman, and so my first true interactions in terms of my dating life were with real, natural Black women, all shades and all hair texture types. And I remember what Jai said in terms of if she can't use my comb, I can't bring her home. I remember that statement she made. And I have a brother that has really kinky curly hair. I have wavier curly hair, what I used to. And so within my own family, the hair textures vary. My mother is Jai's color. I have family that's darker than Kojo, cousins and aunts and uncles, you know. So yeah, that's the answer to the first question. I was just letting her know that her hair looked like my mother's. It wasn't, there's a whole lot more to the conversation because we were talking about Michelle Obama and how she saw Barack Obama for all his favor, for all his worth, for all his glory, even though he had a hole in the floorboard of his car on the first date. She didn't clown it. You know, she liked the fact that he was a community man, trying to build up the community. She saw value in his intellect. She saw value in what he was trying to do to build up his community, communities of color. And we were talking about that date because he took her for chocolate ice cream at the end of the date, which he thought was, you know, cute and romantic. And I'm sitting here with Sharice on our first date, having ice cream the same way. So it was a romantic opportunity. But hopefully I answered your question.
You did, Sampson, and I have to log off, but I hope you can come back in a bit.
You got it. Hey,
Okay.
and by the way, my Colombian ex, she also had, curly kinky hair. She was darker than our chocolate brother Kojo as well. And I don't want you to ever think that I can't, date someone lighter or darker or hair, different. I'm not dating hair, race, or color. I'm dating a lady, and if she has class, I'm interested.
Appreciate it. I'm sure Siwa will be back soon later on. Hopefully she'll be back in time to catch you so she can ask you her questions that I know she wants to ask away. But hey, listen, whilst we've got you here though, there are some questions that need to be answered though, isn't it? Sean, you're laughing because I know Sean got some questions. Sean, you got some questions in it.
I almost want to save some of the questions so we can till the end, because then some of my questions might be answered and some stuff you might not really be able to answer. But if we're gonna just speak about this particular episode, I kind of felt like your response to Brandy, it was kind of like not really emphatic, like you fully were attracted to her. That's what I got from it. Now, I could be wrong, but that's just kind of what I saw.
I was with Brandy and Nakota on that date about 25 minutes before Mike showed up. It was a robust conversation. Her friend asked some really classy questions that showed me that Brandy, like you said earlier, birds of a feather flock together, right? Brandy actually has quality people in her corner, in her circle. And Nakota had a very established marriage with her husband. And they were friends. They were best friends first. And so it had a great foundation established. And so what was in Brandy's ear was the type of advice, the type of guidance, the type of counsel that any man or woman would want in their ear to make a quality decision for something that's lasting a lifetime, and in my opinion, all through eternity, right? The one that you love, your soulmate forever. But as it relates to your question, I was kind of shocked that she didn't know I was attracted to her. We did go on date. We did talk every day almost. She even picked up the phone one day when she had a head wrap on early in the morning without any makeup. So she was confident enough to show me, how she looks early in the morning. I woke up like this, and so I love a woman. I think sex appeal for me, what's sexy is when a woman is truly confident and comfortable in her skin, without, the lipstick and the lashes and the makeup, hair. And so that's when I started to spend a little bit more focus on Brandy, the person. And so when I met the friend, it actually graduated to a possibility of a love interest.
Okay, I think this might be one of Seaway's, and this was something I know from the beginning. We had talks on this several times. One, the comment that you made that you don't want a woman to, you don't want to pursue a woman that's not pursuing you. Can you clarify that for us? Because we've been having debates on what you mean by that. But since you are here, you can tell us what you mean by that.
Yeah. I just had this conversation on Sabrina's Sabrina Soul. Yeah. One of her special guests asked the same question. And I was wrong by stating that most people got it. I can't assume that, right? So I'll retract that, and I'll just say that this was not about approaching a woman. I will always approach the woman. That's just how I am. I'm a man, and I believe for a man to show his interest in a woman by walking up to her and saying hello, it's the least he can do to garner some time. And but what I was really referring to in that statement is that if she's not interested in me, beyond the introduction, beyond the hello, if she's not pursuing me, showing concerted effort to get to know me, to get to know my passions, my family, what I want to pursue in life, then why continue to pursue her? So a man can only do so much. And so if she's not trying to give me the time of day, date 1, 2, and 3, men should pay attention, move on to someone that is willing to find interest in you. And that goes for both sexes. This is gender neutral type of conversations. And that's what I truly meant by that. But good question.
Next question. And it's a 2-part question because the first part is, are you really 48 years old?
Why is that like the most popular question?
Because you don't look like it. You look really good for your age, one, if you are.
Well, thank you so much, first of all,
That's
for the
black.
Blacky black.
That's right. We age well, don't we? I mean, something that God hooked us up with, and I think it's a story of our environmental influences over the century. I think it's the influence of us just living off the land, truly, for so many centuries, and I also think that when you're so used to being challenged, your body over time, you just morph over time to the environment, regardless if the sun's beating down on you. When I was at Morehouse, we talked about how we became who we are physically, not just the melanin content, right? In terms of protecting our skin, is naturally building up the melanin content, but areas that were in our body used for water storage, like our lips, like our butt, why our hair, is curly and has strong roots and doesn't fall out, unlike mine, but these are great environmental historical facts that we need to impress upon our Black youth, men and women, to embrace why we're resilient, why we're strong, why we don't just get beat up by environments with cancers, etc. We are the strongest breed, and I shouldn't say breed, but y'all know what I'm saying. We're the strongest race, and it's no surprise why you see Sabrina Williams doing what she's doing after a child. I was going to hit that with Seaway, by the way. That was my comment to Seaway. Is there something wrong with Sabrina Williams for marrying a white man? Is there something wrong with her for marrying a white man? Is there something wrong with Meghan Markle? Is it Meghan Markle who married Prince Harry? Is there something wrong with Black women who marry white men or date white men? Like, it was ironic. I think Kojo posted, some videos about that conversation that Seaway was having last week or earlier this week. Not earlier this week, but last week or over the weekend. And the next scene that y'all saw was Swayze and Kadian. But I was really happy to see a lot of the reports come out in Swayze's defense. You date what you like. Jai, you said the same thing. You like what you like. It is Miami. There's a lot of South Americans, Latin Americans, Haitian Americans, East Africans, West Africans, all through Miami, so, and I see white man dating Black, I see Black man dating white, and it just is what it is. We got to get beyond, it's wrong to date just one race. I wouldn't get any love because I'm half Black, half Persian. Who's saying I want a half Black, half Persian man,
So my second part to that question is, why so long to find your one?
So, production asked me that in my interview before they decided, before they told me I was a finalist for the show. They asked that question, and it was simple for me. So my 20s, I wasn't ready to settle down. I was just still playing, like same way Sean did, same way Kojo did. We was 20s. If you getting married in your 20s, maybe it's going to be a tough climb for you in your 30s and 40s. I just think a man in his 20s is way too soon. I know down south, a lot of my high school buddies, I got married right out of college. Like 25, getting married. And their kids are half my age now, and it can work out. And in my 30s, I started to look at the dynamic of marriages throughout the world, not just America. And then I broke it down even further within families of color. And when I say families of color, I'm just thinking about anything non-Caucasian, anything non-white. And I just saw the divorce rate so significantly higher than most. And then I one of my degrees is in psychology, and so I did a study on why people are staying in marriages that make them unhappy, lead to depression, or have them seeking counsel, some type of therapy, behavioral health issues. And it's because of their children. Children are in the scenario, and they're sticking in these relationships and marriages for all the wrong reasons. And I didn't see a lot of positive stories within colleagues that I work with, friends, people in media, people in entertainment. It was just, all we heard was divorce here, separation here, cheating here, fighting here. It's what we hear still today. It's not like, our grandparents when they got married and pre-civil rights era that stuck together no matter what, and found love, and it's really, the spouse is throwing this next spouse under the bus, and it's really putting out your business and dirty laundry onto the streets, and it's really calling out and it's trying to embarrass and degrade and shame your husband or your wife, even though you have children, or sometimes even though you have grandchildren. It's sad. And so that was discouraging in my 30s. So I just said, I'm just going to climb. So my 20s was all about fun. My 30s was all about climbing the corporate ladder. And then I joined government, and I wanted to continue to climb. And in my 40s, I said, it's time for me to settle down. I'm looking at my siblings, and they all have children now. I have 11 talented nephews and nieces. And I said, I can't allow the negatives in the world to remove me from something positive that God may have for me. I got to keep hope. I have to continue to believe in myself and others, and knowing that nothing is perfect, that we all need help. We all need to work at it. And that Black love, just like any other love, can be found and can be held, and it can be nurtured. One reason why I love to give plants as gifts is because it's just like a plant. If we give it the time, the attention, and we nourish it and we feed it, it can grow. Same way with love. So that's why my 20s was partying, 30s was climbing, and 40s is trying to focus.
I'm done, Kojo. You can go on now.
All right, cool. I appreciate it. All right, I'm hearing you. All right, cool. Listen, well, Sampson, since you're here, you can also join in the festivities of us breaking down the last episode just gone by. Obviously, we know you can't talk about the future, but you can talk about what has been shown. So you can also join in the great festivities. So we're going to talk a little bit. I think, have I got the right clip? Let me just make sure I got the right clip.
To be honest with you, I'm going to keep it a buck. Like, I just can't live.
No, that was the end. So that's the part I want to see if I can get the Justice comment with Looney, but I don't think I saved that one. But let me focus on the right clip then. We were talking about Looney. We hadn't finished. We were talking about Looney and her date with LJ. And I think the friend made some comments that were quite interesting. I think this is one of the comments that she made as well.
Sex is already talking to me.
Okay.
I can have sex in multiple ways, all kinds of ways. Like, I don't have to touch you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can just look at you and have sex. So it happens right away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some men, they want it. They expect it.
Yeah, my vibe a little.
Sorry, wrong clip, but actually this is really good. I want to know who has had sex with somebody without touching them, without looking at them, without actually, just by looking at them. You made them.
After we had sex, though. I mean, that was after we done did it the first few times already. Then it got to that point where We sexing each other with our eyes before we go sex each other for real in real life. It ain't never happened. Off no, I just meet you and we sexing each other down. That boy need to stop. Like, you not gonna just tell me you don't have good sex. I'd rather hear that because that's what I'm hearing from that. Like, and the fact that he trying to eyeball the friend down while he's saying it, it's like, who are you interested in? Like, are you interested in the friend? Like, you didn't even look at Looney when you said it to make confirm with her. Like, hey, look. Bro, I'm sorry. I can't with that.
You don't have to be sorry. You don't have to be sorry. Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. Sean, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I do that all the time, and I don't want to get the channel demonetized. So yeah, when I'm watching P Hub, yeah, I can have sex with somebody without touching them. I can absolutely do it. But in any other space, no, it does not happen that way. I mean, I do understand there's an exchange of energy, so I get where he was going, but to me, again, it just seemed very performative. It seemed very much like, I'm just trying to, whatever he was doing. So to say that like that in that space, yeah, no, I don't think that. I think, yeah, should there be a connection? Should we, have some level of chemistry that doesn't require us to touch one another at first, right? To get those juices flowing, 100%. I buy into all of that. But once again, that's not something we need to talk about, right? Because if I have chemistry with Jay, hypothetically, because Jay's in a relationship, I don't want to start no problems, right? But if I have chemistry with Jay and we're out, nah, Jay's with a big dude, so I don't want them type of problems. You know what I mean? Listen, my skin bruise easy. I'm light skinned. I don't want problems. Okay, so listen. Enough silliness aside, but I think like that energy is gonna be there, right? And it's gonna be in our one-on-one banter. I don't need to play to a crowd. I don't need to sell my skills to your best friend so that you know what I can do when I can tell you about my stroke game. I think that kind of talk at our big grown age is kind of like, yeah, let's save that between you and I, right? I don't need to tell everybody else. So that's it.
I hear that indeed. It does. It gives me a little bit of that, almost kind of like the fake deep, just trying to be too deep. At points in time, I feel like sometimes with Justice, sometimes it just feels like he's trying to be too deep. Like, bro, just be you. Sometimes it feels like he's trying to go deep and almost like he's trying to impress in that moment. I don't think we've really ever got the real Justice all the way through. Maybe this might be the real Justice. But I just feel like there's too many walls of Justice, and this comment further exasperated. I think further just kind of just made that point even more clear that we're getting a wall with Justice. We want to be able to see beyond this. Like, so also Justice thinks he's sexier than he is. Just with the Justice situation in that he knows he's got a little bit of a jump on Looney, yeah, and I think he knows he can be saying anything in that moment. And it shows, it works, because clearly at the end the friend was literally bigging him up, saying, Justice the one, he's the one that can handle you. I say he gonna hand you over to the authorities because, bruh, you gonna be crazy after you deal with Justice at this rate. Because at the moment, all we've ever seen from Justice right now has been really nothing that's encapsulating somebody who's gonna be in a healthy relationship. You know what I mean? It just seems a bit too much justice right now. You know what I mean? So that's my initial thoughts until when I saw that scene. I want to ask you, Sampson, if you get asked this question, how are you answering it?
Well, y'all can see that Justice is he's a spiritual cat, and I get along with Justice. I like him. I like the fact that he just doesn't care what people really think. He's going to be his own man. But if you think about Tantra, all about combining the physical with the spiritual. And so it aligns with who he is. And when he says that, I immediately thought of, tantric vibes, like setting the mood, where it's music, it's lighting. So it's a visual effect. And then It's what you hear, and then it's what you smell, maybe candles or incense. It's what you taste, whether it's chocolate or something sweet or wine. And then, and so there's a lot of undressing and sexual, sensual passions that can unfold without the touch. And it may come off weird because who was saying it, because I think the audience has developed an idea of who he is based on previous episodes. But I believe in Tantra, you know. I wouldn't say that, you know, to a woman, especially in front of friends. You know, I get what y'all are saying, but I know that the possibility is there when you have a creative mind and two spirits that are in love with one another, role playing and whatnot.
All right. Okay, cool. I hear you.
I mean, that sounds better the way you said it. Like long version and all, that sound better the way you said it. It's what he said was just fluff. It was just a hot mess. Okay, it's not because of who is saying it. What was said was crap. And I know you can't say that, Sampson, because you know that's your castmate. But I'll say it for you. It was crap.
But God, you've been. How many shows have you reviewed? Even before this season.
A few.
A lot.
Yeah. So a lot of the conversation is cut out. So that could have been. So one thing that I wish that panels would do more, and I mean, I'm brand new to reality TV. This is my first one, and not just doing, but watching. And so y'all know that y'all the stuff gets cut out. And so what I wish y'all would do more is give people the benefit of the doubt. Say possibly he said more about this, or possibly she meant this, but y'all never give benefit of the doubts. Why? I know why though, because the majority of your audience, your subscribers, don't believe in benefit of the doubt. They want that drama. They want to be like, I can't stand that cat, you know. So I get it, but he didn't say it that way. But maybe that part was cut out.
We give benefit of doubt. If you watch a lot of these reviews, a lot of times I'll be saying maybe stuff is cut off. Coach will say maybe it was edited out or whatever. But what he gave us to work with and what he gave editing to work with was fluff. Okay. They didn't put that in his mouth. He sat there and said what he said. And he could have said more.
Remember, I just picked up my first beer. He probably already had 3 drinks running through his mouth, you know. I'm trying to defend you, Justice, man. Hey, I'm going to come visit you when I come back to Miami. I'm at the hotel, but I'll come visit you at the Hard Rock, bro. Trust me, man. We'll have a drink. We'll talk about...
He owes you 10 rounds because I need you to stop the cap. All right? You are my brother.
The only thing that Justice has ever said.
Stop. Stop this. Go away from me with this. I've never been on another show. I've never watched the show.
Wait. Hold on. Sean, you believe me?
I mean, I believe you-ish, but it's just kind of like, why?
Okay. Now, check it out. So this was another interview question as well. Like, have you seen Radio Love? I had no clue. Did I know who Will Packer was? Yes. Do I know the Oprah Winfrey Network? Yes. But me and my family, we don't watch reality TV. My friends don't even watch reality TV. And so, so when I told them about this show, none of them knew. None of them. My family, my friends, we didn't know what it was. So, they just said, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But I said, hey, but this is on the Oprah Winfrey Network. And
they said don't do it, but they never seen it.
Yeah, exactly. And how did you find the show? Hold on. The show?
Let me pause the question. Let me answer what Jai just said. Yes, they said don't.
Jay, Sampson, it's Jay. Just think J-A-Y. Don't do the phonetics. Just J-A-Y.
Joe, listen to the response. Jay, the reason do it because it's reality TV, not because it was Ready to Love. It was just reality TV, and their ideas of reality TV is like no one ends up better off at the end of the show before going in, and so that was the guidance that I got. It was like, and I had one of my good friends from Morehouse. His wife watches the show and watched every season and said, this is not something that Sampson should do. And so why did I do it? I was just like, why not? You know, I'm in Miami. I'm single. I'm open to the idea. I think it's going to be fun. And I was told this was a show about Black love, Black excellence. And I Googled Will Packer and some of his other stuff that he's worked on. I said, And then I went on to YouTube and I saw some clips. And I told this to Sabrina and Tyrone. I saw the DMV version season. And I saw a couple of clips from Houston as well, which is my hometown. And I saw class. I saw, good personalities. I saw beautiful women.
Wait, I'm sorry. Let's just real quick pause. You watched the season with Sabrina that has a YouTube channel on it? You watched some of that?
Just some, like the 2-minute clips. They call them shorts.
Yeah.
It was just a little bit of the interactions with people that were just meeting, falling in love.
You missed this.
And you didn't see no drama in that? But just real quick, one question.
No.
So how did you find out about the show? Like, did somebody reach out to you?
Yeah, someone just reached out to me. I think they saw my social media. Yeah.
You should have known from there, bro. You should have known from there.
But I'd never. What should I have known though? That there's that ready to love is not ready to love. It should be ready for drama.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Samson. You know I love you. You know I love you. You know I love you, Samson. You know I love you. But I gotta hold you to it. You said that someone from is it Spellman said one of the wives said obviously don't go on the show because etc. etc. Why does it not hit you at that moment to go, actually, let me go and research the show I'm about to go on to, because just in case this actually is as bad as she's saying it is, why not think about, actually, let me go and check it, because you're about to sign a contract.
I did.
NDAs and all.
I checked it. It was not, I didn't watch an entire season. I watched the YouTube clips. It was fine. And by the way, I walked away unbruised. I'm not, nothing hurt me, So
no, you didn't.
I'm okay with the situation. I'm very okay with everything that happened.
So you saw part of the show then. So you did watch part of the show. I mean, you don't watch all the clips and all the everything. So you saw part of the show.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you saw part of the show. So you watched Sabrina's season, right? So you know who Zadia is.
Only saw like a few clips. These are
Zadia?
long clips. These are like 2 minutes, 3 minutes long.
Did you see Zadia? Did you see Dante?
I don't even know the names.
Did you see the risotto? Did you see the vegan risotto?
Well, I've seen them now, but not prior to.
God damn.
And by the way, like for me, I didn't want another one of my buddies was like, hey, so we know you're going to be you no matter what. However, just realize that sometimes it may be production trying to throw monkey wrenches your way that you won't know how to respond to. I was like, well, I'm always still going to respond my natural way.
My way.
My way, so no matter what, it's just like real life. I mean, I've lived in 8 states now. My work has kept me traveling all over the place. And I've dated in these states. And I've seen the good and the not so good of dating. And so I was just like, I think that I was better prepared to receive whatever was on the show with me than most, because I've seen the different types of dynamics, dating styles, cultures, language shifts, customs, all throughout the U.S., West Coast, Midwest, East Coast, South. And so I've seen it. And so I felt like I was prepared to handle whatever came my way. And if something was just too ratchet or hood or unclassy, I avoided. And remember, a lot of what y'all see, I think one of the comments was, well, he doesn't see that in her. Can't mention names. You can't see that in her. He's a life coach. Then we got to question him being a life coach. We aren't on these dates. We don't see what. We see what y'all see when the show airs, so I'm not aware of what's happening until it airs. So I don't know about all the drama in these relationships or on these dates. I'm not a part of that. And And if someone ever called me, I was telling Sabrina this the same thing. If someone ever called me trying to talk about what took place earlier the day on their date in a drama, I didn't have an ear for that. I was like, I don't want to hear about another man. I don't want to hear about another woman. If it deals with you and me, let's talk about it, because this journey is as effed up as it can get already. So let's keep it as clean as possible. Let's scrub it, and make sure that when I come to you, I'm making sure I'm coming with positivity, optimism, good energy, and I'm talking about us. There's a huge world out there we could talk about. A lot of culture, a lot of history, a lot of people, a lot of family, a lot of passions that are great to talk about. Why talk about a little piece of somebody that you don't like? I don't have time for that. I'm 48. So they learned really quick that I didn't tolerate it. The production knew, cast knew that Sampson I don't have any ear for the drama. And so, I learned that this show does come with drama early on. I learned in episode 2 that drama was there. So, but I want to make sure Sean understands clearly. No, bro, I do not watch reality TV. My circle does not watch reality TV. We just don't do it. We watch The Cosby Show, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Martin.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was that I necessarily completely disbelieve that you didn't watch reality TV. I think it's just the concept. I guess we just have a hard time understanding that you would go on a TV show and not have a whole lot of context of what you were going to do. But you explained it well for us. I get it. I mean, listen, I think the one thing that what you just explained proves to us is that people are not so far apart from who we see on TV, right? Because how you spoke, how you explained yourself is very in line with the person, the Sampson that has shown up to us on Ready to Love thus far in the season. And that's a fairly good guy, a solid dude. And that's what you've been, today. So I think ultimately, with the edit stuff, yes, so there's some things that we might have questions or we might have a misconception about a thing or two. But I think ultimately you come across as who you are, right? And I think that's what we're trying to get to. The cap, that's a little bit for our entertainment. Yeah, I mean, I get it. You didn't watch it. You had some context, though. And I think the other part, and this is where I'll land my plane, is that you did what you needed to do and you stayed true to yourself, right? So ultimately, at the end of the day, there was no producer pulling your string and says, Sampson, we need to do this. And you felt forced to do something that was, not who you were.
No, I mean, the lead producer, I won't say his name, but kept on talking about the word integrity. We have to ensure that the integrity of the show remains intact. And I love that word. I use that word all the time when I'm coaching. And that's why, I feel kind of not perplexed, but half and half for my coffee when it relates to some of my cast members feeling like editing is really not giving them any favor. And I see why. I see it. But again, when you're in these conversations and sometimes you forget the cameras are there, especially as the season progresses. You get more and more used to the cameras in front of you, and you get more and more comfortable with the people that you're trying to connect with. And I thought people were trying to really get to know those that they were interested in. There were a lot of friend zones, but there were a couple that we were all trying to, get to know. And but I think that again, it was the comfort zone becoming greater as the season progresses. You throw in and add the libations, the alcohol. You throw in the fact that you're still trying. You're seeing that the competition's getting stronger and more formidable, and so you really have to show up with who you are to keep those connections. And so with that comes a lot of truth and a lot of facts and a lot of who you really are. And it may not come across well for watching it. And so you look at it afterwards, you're like, damn, I was really real in that moment. I was really me. But it just wasn't portrayed well. and then on top of that, you add the edits. And so a conversation may be getting deep and it cuts, or a conversation that, I mean, I know Mike was on earlier. I saw him on a live with Sharice and Kayla.
Kayla, yeah.
Body. Kojo, you jumped on that for a hot minute. And, they were defending themselves. And I'm watching all my castmates on these lives and these little bitty podcasts and panels, and they all have the same type of language and defense. And my heart goes out to them. I just wish that it didn't have to be this way for them. I really wish it didn't, and I just remember what the producer said on day one. The cameras are rolling from the beginning. The cameras are going to roll after we leave. They're going to catch everything. The first thing they do when you step on the set is mic you up. You haven't even put on your clothes yet. You still getting makeup. So the girls are. And so the mic is on first. It's mic'd up. And so you got to be cognizant of what's about to take place. And some people just got caught out there.
Which is what comes back to the original point of justice, which I'm going to home down again. We weren't even the only ones who saw the fake deep in the spiritualness. No offense to justice. Hey, I'm going to tell you what it is, okay? From what we saw, unfortunately, it was fake deep. Okay, that's what we saw. Then we also, and I'm not the only person that said that, Trinika's friends also said the exact same thing. So again, this is where self-awareness comes in, right? Because as we as an audience are experiencing you, so are the very people who are on, like you say, who are on the panels or even on the set with you as well. So I know you were defending them a little bit, but I have to cap it and just be like, bro, I hear you, but I don't agree. Because what we saw right there, the answer was fake deep. And see, the problem with being fake deep is, if you meet somebody who actually is deep, we can see that you're not there. This is the problem. We can see you're not there because we're actually deep. So what I was getting from Justice in that particular date, unfortunately, in that particular date, we didn't get the full authentic justice. Or if that is justice, then it's shallower than he's actually making it out to be. Because there's always like a beautiful quote with justice, or something deep or something profound, quotables that are being said. And that's why he got called out by Trinika's friends, or at least after he had left anyway. That's why they felt the way they felt about him, because he has impacted them in a particular way where they're like, bruh.
Kojo, on that point, bro. So those friends met him for an hour and a half. I was with him for, what is this, 7 episodes at this point? 7 episodes. Mm-hmm. These are long days. That pool mixer at the very beginning, the first episode, that was like 12 hours, man. Mm-hmm. So, these are some long ass days. You get to know a person. And so I wanted to tell you that's not, justice is more than just what you think, bro. He's not a surface dude. He's a deep brother, like you. I know who you are just by watching your panel. I know who Sean is by watching your panel. Y'all are educated, astute brothers that speak very well. He does too, but it may not be your type of jam. You know what I'm saying? And don't just take what Trinika's friend said as gospel. So remember, that was just an hour and a half that they were in front of him, and you can't just take that. Take what I'm saying instead, because I had more time with the brother. So
okay, let me ask you this.
But you're proving our point.
Ask. I'll ask you this question: are the things that he said things that you would say?
No, we're different.
That's it. And that's what we're pointing out. And I think that's sometimes what happens with the folks that are on the cast that hear opinions from people like us, is it doesn't mean you're a bad person, but it means we are hearing things that don't jive with us, and they're not something me as a man I would say, right? You just laid out very clearly that when you're interested in a woman, you go about pursuing her, right? Justice says he does not do that, and he said it 3 different times in 20 different ways. So there was no editing. That's just how he operates. And for a lot of people, women in particular, that is a turnoff. So it doesn't make him the worst person in the world. There's a woman out there who that would work for, but a lot of women don't like that, and rightfully so. Women should be pursued.
And also, we as men know this as well. I know with all my boys, I can trust you, you're loyal, You know, you're a real one. You know what I'm saying? You don't cheat on your barber. You know what I'm saying? I know you loyal. I know you dependable, you know? But I know you with women. And that's a different brother. The brother I know with women, I know is different when he's with me. You understand? Because you can know, listen, I rolled with cats that I knew that bro would never betray me. But if it comes to their girl, brother, he's going to betray her like there's no tomorrow. I know him. He wouldn't do that with me. So I agree. I'm not saying that Justice is with the guys. That's not with the guys. I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure he's a cool dude. He's one of the lads. You know what I'm saying? Just like your boy that you know that mistreats women. He's a cool guy. But when it comes to women, yeah, he can be a douche. And so in this instance with Justice, what we're seeing is that when he's with women, something else comes out of Justice. I said this from the very first episode. And you made a very good point, which was proving what we're talking about, right? You knew from the very first minute of watching me on a few lives for an hour and a bit, you know what kind of person I am. You already know. So you have to use that same measurements that you used for me is the same measure we're going to use for him as well. I don't need to be with him for 12 hours to know what kind of person he is when it comes to women. When we with people with bros, it'd be different. But with women, it doesn't take that long because you notice with me, you can make that judgment so quickly by just seeing, okay, that's how he answers women. We can make that judgment about you. We said, oh, Sampson's a good guy. We can tell by the way he's interacting with women. Go for it, Kat.
Good point. Valid point. I hear you 100%. Very clear. The only difference between me critiquing you on your panel and you critiquing Justice on television, there's no edits with you.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah. No, but you don't know me on a personal basis, though.
I don't have like your sentences.
But that's the point.
Your sentences, Kojo. Your sentences, your paragraphs, your statement for this entire 1 hour and 31-minute live has been fluid. TV, reality TV, is not fluid. You can't. These are apples and oranges here, brother. But I hear your point. I hear your point.
There's no oranges, Sampson. Sampson, there is no apples and oranges here. There's no apple and oranges here. Let's just make this clear. With boys, Justice could be cool. I don't know how he's with the guys. I think he's pretty cool with the guys, right? So if you're talking about from the guy's perspective, you're absolutely right, bro. Right? If you're talking about from the guy's perspective, he's probably a cool dude. Maybe he talks some good stuff, good deep stuff. We're not disputing that. We're talking about when it comes to women, something happens to Justice, and it's a different Justice. Just looking at the show and how he's interacting, how he shows up with women is considerably different to how he shows up with men. Right now, okay, take for instance Sean. Sean's been on this panel for a long time, right? Sean knows me intimately as a boy. He doesn't know me how I'm going to react with women, though. He's never seen me with a woman. He's never seen my relationship with women. He can only go on what he's seen with me. So he may defend my character. No, Coach is a cool guy. But if he starts seeing me with women now and how I start showing up, he gonna have a completely different aspect of, oh, that's Kojo when it comes to women. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think he said it earlier on. When it goes to after dark, what does Coach do? Coach on the phone, he's talking to a woman. He sees that. So he can make a judgment going, okay, maybe Coach he's got maybe a player. If he says, oh, Coach got a bit of a player vibe because of what I've seen, I can only go, okay, bro, that's what you've seen, but that's not what I am, but that's what you've seen. I can understand that. So what we're saying is when it comes to Justice and women, and I've called this out from the very first episode, the whole conversation with April, that's where it started from. When you're answering questions and suddenly deep answers are coming, which are not really deep because they're not landing and actually answering the actual question, then we're not actually getting the real you. And that's why people have a version of Justice. That's not editing. That's not anyone else. That's simply the way that he shows up when it comes to women, right? That's how he comes. And that's why I said Trinika's friends are important because they're not us. They spent maybe an hour and a bit with him, right? And in an hour and a bit, they made a conclusive decision about what they witnessed from him. They had the same viewpoint we had. How is that possible? We didn't speak. We didn't talk to her. How the hell she got the same viewpoint that we've got?
Point made.
You know what I mean?
Point made.
And let me add to this too. It's not just that, the editing of that one person like that. the women on the show, your castmates, also made this assumptions about Justice as well, and they've spent just as much time as you have with him. And it's different for us women because this is somebody that we are either pursuing or pursuing us. We're not looking to be friends with this person. As a friend, Sean and Kojo, they can treat me a whole different way than as somebody that I was actually interested in. As friends, they would talk to me about their relationships and stuff. Whereas if we were trying to be with one another, they would never tell me about these things. I have guy friends that treat me differently from what I see them treat they women. So you as a boy may see him and say, oh no, that's a good person, that's a good dude or whatnot. But we as a woman might be getting a different experience. And those women in the loungers were seeing different experiences of Justice. It's not just that one scene that we've seen or the few times and it's just editing. These women are telling their real life experience with him as well.
Yeah.
So we have to factor in what they're seeing too.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you 100%, Jay. Can I ask y'all a question about Justice, and I'll be done with Justice?
That's cool.
So, have y'all seen Justice disrespect any of the women on the show?
I wouldn't say I've actively seen him disrespect. No,
we didn't either. The women didn't see it. I didn't see it. I don't think production saw it. He's not disrespectful. I've seen him in his work environment as well. You know, very well loved, admired. I've seen him with his daughter. You know, he's a very good father. All about her college education, matriculation right now. You know, this is 2022. There's a lot of women that pursue men, a ton. And I saw it early in the 90s, you know, like I've said that mid to late 90s. I saw it a lot when I was in college. You know, the AUC, you had Spelman, you had Morehouse, you had Clark Atlanta, you had Morris Brown, you had the Theological Institute. And then my travels, just going to all the other HBCUs that I visited, I saw a lot of Black women saying the same way they chase after their career and go after their hustle. They're pursuing men with the same type of hunger and drive. And with a man like Justice and, you know, like Zoe or Mike or myself, there's a lot of men that they said, you know what, I've been married. You know, I've been out there chasing. I've been out there pursuing. Now I'm just going to sit back. If something comes to me, it's coming to me. I'm not going to disrespect women. If something comes to me, that means they're interested. And if it's a vibe, then I'm going to pursue it. And so I look at Justice as one of these guys that's accepting the modern 2022 woman that is going after a man the same way she's going after her career. And he's choosing which one he wants to be with. Like you heard that in the last episode. You present yourself well, I'll choose you. He's been down that road. He has a child. Like he's older, you know, he's mid-40s, like me. So he's not trying to do too much. Now I have a different approach. I'm still going after what I want, you know, but I'm okay with guys like that because they're girls, there are women like that, you know? So I'm okay with it.
I just think real quick, because I think somewhere along the lines, maybe there's a misunderstanding. So I want to understand what is it that you hear us saying that you feel like you need to defend Justice? Because it's
nothing. I'm not defending him. I'm just providing perspective.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
I
don't think we thought he was disrespectful, by the way.
No.
I don't think no one ever thought he was disrespectful.
Good.
Yeah, no, it just was, some of it read a little disingenuous, some of it read borderline manipulation, and then most of it read like, I'm not going to chase women, and most of the women on your cast, forget about us as viewers, most of the women on your cast have said that that's not the kind of man that they want. So we're just talking through that.
Makes sense. Thank you, Sean.
So there's a question. I'm going to ask it. I don't care what the audience really care about because I like this conversation we're having. I think it's good. I think it's very powerful. So the questions that come up here. It said this: Sampson, would you let him date your sister? / daughter, if you have one? I mean, obviously, hypothetically speaking. This is a good question.
You know, I don't have any children. Never been married, but I believe that a parent will raise a child in the way that is in alignment with their own morals and values. I'm not going to give you a yes or no, Kojo.
Sampson, that's already an answer. You don't have to explain anymore. No. You need not answer anymore. You need not answer anymore, Sampson. You need not. That's an answer in itself. You've answered it. Thank you. You've answered it. I don't need you to answer yes or no. You've answered it. But you can't say yes, it's a no.
But again, what sons or daughters are dating based upon parental guidance?
Sampson, you already know this is cap. And that's
the question was for your sister.
Cap.
I know.
You know you cap.
Was dating this man.
You cap.
I get all y'all shaking your head.
But this is why I'm saying to you that's why we don't need you to hold all position. Like that's what I'm trying to say to you. Like if me and Sean, right? Sean can vouch for me as a boy. You understand? And he can say to me, Kojo's an amazing guy, But if he sees me on a show and he sees me doing what Justice does, he's got to call me out like, bro, I can't really date my sister. not the way. And that's the real test of authenticity with men in terms of whether that person's got good character or not. You know when you can answer that question. If I say right now, would I let Sean date my sister? I'll say yeah, because I think Sean's a great guy. He's very direct, but he's a great guy.
None of my boys will date any of my sisters or daughters.
I mean, it's objective. It's hypothetical in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a good dude. So there is no. I think I'm like no. I think Sean's a great guy from what I've seen and what I've interacted with. I think Sean's a great guy. Sean, you'd able to date my sister or date my daughter, whatever it was, right? Hypothetically speaking, if now I disagreed with Sean's character, right? This question would cause problems for me because I'd be like, some of my boys would be like, bro, you're my boy, but fam, that's my sister. You know what I mean? I can't let you date that. That's basically me saying, no, you're not good character. Why would I not want? If my boy's a really good boy, he's good, he's solid, he makes money, he's responsible, he's dependable, he's truthful, he's faithful. Shit, there's a lot of crazy man out there, fam. You can date my sister. You can date my sister. I can trust you because I know you're gonna take care of her. I'm not gonna let no goon who's gonna move mad with my sister. If I can trust you, I can. You know what I mean?
Kojo, that's 100%, man. I totally feel you 100%. We gave Justice a good 30 minutes, man. What else you got?
Oh, you running now?
We just would love. So we know you have it in you,
Yo, Kojo, he's a runner. He's a track star.
You gotta do what you gotta do,
running from it, bro. But we want that closed-ended answer, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're a man of intention, and if you move in a specific way, you're not gonna want somebody that you hold dear to you to have a man that's any different than that. And that's all we're saying. Doesn't make him the worst man in the world. Doesn't make him horrible, but it just makes him somebody you wouldn't want to have somebody you care about with because you just know it could go a wrong way.
Copy that. Remember, I'm not here to defend anybody. I'm giving my own perspective.
We got you.
But I think we've belabored this one long enough.
Okay, so to clear the air and to tie this up, we don't have no hard feelings towards Justice. We don't know that man from Adam, so we're not saying that he's a bad guy. Somebody would like the way he is out there, and he'll find his one when he is actually ready. Amen.
Amen, indeed. All right, cool. Okay, cool. So let's move it on. The next part we're talking about was obviously Mike and Kayla situation. It was a Mike and Kayla situation. We're gonna deal with Mike and Randall first and foremost when they had a date, and then we'll move it from there. Let's.
This is the guy.
Stop.
That the lips is on that lip. So what you mean? What can I bring?
Yeah, it's gonna get tight. If Sampson can't answer our questions, he ain't answering this question either. But go on, Jay.
If Press was a person, that's all I could say to it. Like, yeah, and I know we watched the live earlier. That's why we was here talking about what we was talking about or whatnot. If you keep bringing up the same thing, I can't say this is editing anymore. This is you. This is a different time that you have brought up this kiss. This is a different time you didn't address Randall by his name, and you clearly did it with Zoe. As much as you would love to say you're not pressed, you are pressed. And that's fine. I understand. You don't want your woman kissing everybody. You don't want your woman showing off her body to everybody. You don't want all of these things. That is fine. But to keep hounding down a person's throat every chance you see them, all you have to do is say, I'm bothered. I get it. I get it. If you say I'm bothered by this and we have this conversation, then we can move on. We can try to move forward. And if you don't want to move forward with me, I understand. Respectfully, we can go our different ways. But every time you see me and you got this to say, that's tiring. And I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with somebody like this. And I'm not saying this to beat down on Mike or nothing like that. But as a woman who has been with people that is like this, as a woman who has done this to people, it's draining and it tears up the relationship. So you might want to watch what you're doing sometimes when you got this opportunity to see yourself back, because all of us don't have this opportunity. All of us don't get friends that tell us, hey, look, you're doing these bad things. So you get this opportunity to see yourself doing these things in action. Take note and say, you know what, maybe I need to fix this part of me, because this can come off less attractive to a lot of people. But I'll leave it there with that one.
I'm hearing you. Sean, what are you saying?
So, yeah, I mentioned this before, and I just don't understand why he feels the need to keep talking about her kissing other guys. I don't know if that's a means to cut her down. You know, like, I've seen guys do this, and it's not always intentional, but they see a pretty girl, a girl that's attractive, very attractive, and they want to kind of just bring her down to size a little bit. So they'll do little things to just like chip away to let them know, hey, listen, you're not the only prize here. I'm the prize too. Right. So I don't know if I just don't understand why he needs to always talk about what else she has going on a show where we are actively dating other people. You know, I get it if it's real life and you're feeling a little insecure and you want to level the playing field. It still doesn't make it right, but I would understand that. But when you are on a show, when it's known that you're dating other people, and, you know, at the end of the day, you keep talking about her kissing other people. So if that's so much of a turnoff, then leave her alone or get over it. So that's what I think about it.
Yeah, I because me too. I'm coming from a perspective of dark arts, you know, manipulation, them kind of things. There, I've been insecure as well when I was younger, and I know exactly that particular thing. When you do that, that is a cut down. It's a cut down, because what it does is that you don't feel comfortable in comparison to a person. You're oftentimes, what it is you're judging yourself against the other person, like you said, Sean, as well. And you see that person, maybe it's very beautiful to you, and you're feeling a bit, you know, a bit small in the presence of that person because of their beauty or what you consider to maybe their intelligence or whatever, or their finance or whatever. And so the way that what happens that we see, and if this is from my this is from my perspective here, is that what happens is, you know, you tend to kind of throw these little digs. So like these little digs are to kind of like you said, cut down size, but it's because you need to bring it down to a level so that you can feel comfortable again. You understand? This is dark arts. This is me talking about manipulation. This is me talking about from that perspective. It may just be the fact that he really is just making a joke. You know what I'm saying? It may be. But my brain goes, but we make jokes all the time which have so much truth in them. You understand? And a lot of times, I think me and Jay were talking about this behind the scenes. We're saying, you know, when you make a joke, let's say, for instance, let's say I'm a very innocent one. Oh, but you're going to eat all the cake in the fridge again? It's a little joke, right? It's absolute truth, because the person last time ate all the cake last time, and you're making a dig at the person, but you ain't going to try and be direct. You're just going to make it passively. And so sometimes when we say that we're making these jokes, sometimes even to the person making a joke, they're not even fully aware of actually what they're fully doing in its full entirety. And so when you are calling it out, it looks as if, no, I'm just making a joke. Nah, you are being passive aggressive when you making that joke. And we know it because as black folk, we know when white people make these jokes, we know they're not making jokes, bro. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you gonna run fast again, coach? You know exactly what they're saying when they say that.
A microaggression, yep.
Thank you. It's a microaggression. And so the same can be said when we're talking about dating and when people make these kind of jokes. And it wasn't a joke because, it was done more than once. You did it at a pool table with the kiss situation. Just kiss the girl and be done. Kiss the girl and be done. You know you want to kiss her, bro, right? Then he brings up, but you've already kissed two people already. If you don't want to kiss her, bro, on camera, that's fine. Kiss her off camera. This whole deflecting by adding extra additives is where we're now getting another story. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's what I'm looking at from that point of view. We may be wrong. He may just maybe generally making a joke. But yeah, and I'm sure we'll get Kayla on to kind of explain her viewpoint in terms of how she saw it as well. But something you want to add before? And then I'll get Kayla to come on.
Yeah, so my only add, 1 to 2 statements. Mike is not an insecure dude. I'm not here to defend Mike. But remember, we're trying to be authentic in very inauthentic settings. All right? We keep on having to remind ourselves, even when production doesn't, be you. Even though these cameras are on you. Even though you know other people are going to hear about your date or what you're saying. And it may be morphed, edited. So he's authentic he's authentic in a very inauthentic setting. And that's all I have to say about it.
What the heck does that mean, Sampson? I'm going to be honest with you.
Coach,
what the heck does that mean?
Know what that means?
I don't.
Okay,
I'll be honest with you, bro. I don't.
Boy knows. I bet Sean knows.
I know what you mean, and I'm gonna say this to that. I respect you guys for putting yourself out there on the line so we can have these talking points. But as as his authentic self in that moment, that's what I'm saying. Instead of trying to defend what he's doing and just say, "Oh, it was just a joke. It's just a joke." The joke has been played out already. The joke was funny the first time. But sometimes we do this in real life where we just try to pass it off as a joke, but this is how we really feel. Something is really bothering us on the inside. And this is what me and Kojo was talking about before. I have been guilty of this, where I try to sit here and say what's bothering me as a joke, not to be a nag or try to make the person feel some type of way or whatnot. But I really want to get it off my chest and have this conversation instead of just saying, hey, this bothers me that you're doing this and I like you and I don't want to be bothered by this. I joke around. And that ends up pushing the person away instead of bringing them closer to me. And so I get that this is you being your authentic self, but sometimes your authentic self is what sabotages you from your own love, from your own success, from your own greatness. And you have to see that sometimes and say, you know what, I need to fix this part of me. I need to show up better. And that's all we're saying is that when the cameras and the editing is highlighting these parts are not just existing in that person on the screen. They exist in all of us.
There's a lot that they also don't show. Like, they just do not show the more deep moments that actually happen between both me and Randall and me and Mike. They don't show that. They highlight just certain little parts and that's it. And that's all y'all get to see of me. It's never we get to know Kayla in any way. It's always, them only showing the small parts of when, something, wild is going on. And that's frustrating. So, they just don't show it. And they have all these digital exclusives and they have none of me. They don't show my date with Zoe. Like, they think, the whole thing with Zoe came out of nowhere. Me and Zoe had a date right before, the situation that happened with us. They don't show that. They don't show anything. They just got me looking like I'm all over the place because they don't show all the other things that are going on. Like, it's just kind of frustrating. So that's what I'll say.
Kayla, can I ask you, did that bother you though? All those kissing comments?
Yeah, it bothered me because they put me in a they casted me as a type because I'm young, the youngest one there, the finest one. They casted me
You
as
better speak it.
that person. They none of the like deep conversations me and Randall got into at the pool party. They didn't show any of that. None of the deep conversations that happened with me and Mike at the pool all date. They didn't show any of that. They didn't show my date with Zoe at all. They didn't show who I voted for in the first two ladies lounges. They just like I'm just here and they just I don't know.
Well, I think
So
we got
wait,
to see some depth from you in this last episode, especially when you were having that good conversation with your
heart to heart.
homegirl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then they didn't even cut that up right. They didn't even show what me and her were talking about before we got emotional. They started talking, when she first started talking when the guys left, and then they cut to like 30 minutes later when we were talking about my ex and all the different things that I've been through, and then they just show us in the middle of us crying once we get back to the conversation about the guys.
Mm.
So y'all don't even see like where the conversation started with me and her started talking about. She said, "Kayla, like Mike is looking real familiar," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then we start talking about my ex, and we start talking about things that happened with him and red flags with him, and it just got emotional. And then we had to bring it back. The producers were like, "Well, we have to, what are y'all thoughts on?" The situations with the guys, and then we just had to talk about that at that point when we after talking about all those other things. So people just don't get to see that. And, I mean, I guess because it's only 49 minutes.
I'm glad you
So
brought that up, Kayla. I'm sorry, Kojo. I'm
no,
glad
I
you
was
brought
gonna
that up,
ask.
Kayla, because I didn't think that it was about most of the guys or anything in that moment. I just felt like you were having a realization moment with yourself in that moment. Because I've seen myself do that before, where it's just like, okay, I keep running into this wall. What am I doing wrong? And that's what I got from it. And I know many people have seen other things, but I didn't see nothing bad about it. So.
I was gonna ask. I want to be a bit more specific because Sean asked a question, but it kind of went away when you answered it, Kayla. Specifically with the mic situation, just so the audience can get get an answer direct. Specifically with the mic situation, when he keeps saying about you kissed two people and Randall and that guy and da da da, I want to know how you felt because we're saying our perspective. I want to know from you on an honest level. How did you feel in regards to those comments that he was making about the kiss and et cetera, et cetera? How did you feel about that?
So you guys don't really see, but me and Mike had a lot of conversation. Like me and Mike had great energy. We're genuinely attracted and we're interested in each other, and they don't show all of that. But when we got to the conversation about each other's connections, they don't even show me asking about Brandy or whatever. They only show Mike asking, and in at that time and place, I just felt like, oh, here Mike go being jealous because Mike and everyone there knew that Randall was my pick from the pool party. So I'm like, here Mike goes with the jealous shit. Like it was just funny to me. But now watching it back, it's like I'm grossed out by it, by the way that they like cut it up. It makes me so uncomfortable. I'm super uncomfortable. But like in the moment, I was like, here's Mike, Mike is Pisces. So I was like, look at Mike being jealous, still feeling some kind of way, about Randall, like thinking he gonna just try to sway my, turn my head or whatever. But now when I'm watching it back, I'm just like horrified. I'm like, wow, like, wow. But yeah, I mean, in the moment, it was just funny. As you see, I'm laughing because it was a joke. It was meant to be funny, but that's all they show, and then y'all think that that's all that happened. I don't know.
No, I don't think that's all that happened. I think we are looking at behavior and we're trying to analyze it. But if you said you were comfortable with it, if you say you're comfortable with it, we've got to
No,
sit
I
with that
wasn't
answer.
comfortable with it, but it was like when people do those, tell a joke with a little bit of truth.
Yeah.
It was one of those moments. So like, what am I to do? I didn't feel like it was annoying. It kind of was like, here you go with this again. But at the same time, what should I have? What could I have done? What to do other than to laugh it off? Like, I don't know. I don't
So
know any of y'all that well to like get mad,
I don't want you to get mad, but I think this is a beautiful example of what we're talking about here, and I really want the audience to pay attention. Sean asked you the question first, and when you answered it, you kind of went off. I asked the question a second time to be specific. You kind of coaxed it very nicely because I think maybe you don't want to out Mike or whatever how you feel about the situation, but actually when we got down to the core crux of it, you've seen it your feeling of what you felt about that moment. We've got to the actual bottom of it right now. You weren't comfortable with it, so you laughed it off. That's precisely what we're talking about. That in itself, it's a joke. It's not a joke, because how you were interpreting it, your feelings are informed the same way that we as an audience, or at least this panel, has also seen it, and the audience has seen it. That in those moments, that joke isn't a joke because of what it actually does to the actual other person. So it's not to say that Mike is bad. It's to say that there are some aspects of behavior that when you do them, right, cause a particular reaction, And all we were calling out was the fact that this situation, right, when he was making those jokes, it wasn't necessarily a joke. And I think you just kind of highlighted that. That's why I was asking you again. I wanted to get to the crux and get to the bottom and be like, what's your actual feeling? You know what I mean? And it's okay to say, hey, I didn't like that. I was uncomfortable. I laughed, but I was uncomfortable. And that's the reality of it.
I was uncomfortable, but at the same time, a man that doesn't care at all isn't going to bring it up.
So I'll say this. Do you feel actively pursued by Mike at this point? Do you feel like he is actively pursuing you? Scratch the cameras. Behind the scenes, is he actively telling you his interest, showing interest in you?
Kayla.
Yes, we were talking every day for hours.
Kayla.
Hold on. Sampson, hold on. Sampson, hold on. Let her finish. Sampson, wait. Sampson, wait. Sampson, hold on. Let her finish. Come on, bro.
Yeah, we were actively.
No, Sampson, chill.
He was actively pursuing me. Yeah, we were talking all the time. We talked out every day. After the pool all day, we were connected. We were fully connected. We were talking all the time, getting to know each other better, telling me about his kids and whatever he was working on that day. I mean, we were talking like we had a real connection. We clearly have a real connection. I think the connection between us is the strongest thing I've seen between any of the connections, whether it's just, sexual or not. Just per looking, we have the strongest connection just naturally. So for everybody else to eat, regardless if it meant long term or not, just based off of our interaction with each other. So yeah, I mean, it was there. So that's so I don't like the way that they're portraying me, but like, what can I do? I can only hope that it gets better.
Okay. So, Sampson, you were going to say something. Sorry, I cut you off. Go for it.
No, I was just trying to protect. We signed an NDA, and I thought that the response was going to enter an area where Kayla should not respond. And but I think she was okay. But Kayla, I was just making sure that you're staying out of hot water. That's all, sis.
Kayla, can I ask what part do you not like? Because I don't think you're coming off bad or anything. The kisses to me didn't mean nothing. I said it earlier that like even with the kiss with Randall said that you guys never had a one-on-one. So to me that kiss was like nothing, and the other one was a bit. So outside of that, what parts are you not liking? Because you seem to be coming off real fine to me.
Up into this part of the show, I'll add that so that
no one gets as far as the Randall thing, me and Randall only had one date so far. So that's what he means, but they don't even show me talking about it in the confessional. We were still talking every day. So yeah, we only had one-on-one date, but I also only had one-on-one date with Mike. Y'all only see me on 2 dates in the whole season. So, I mean, I feel like just based on what I'm seeing in the episode, I feel like they both were making excuses. And I don't care what nobody's saying. They both was making
And you'd be
excuses. When
right.
my friend was asking, why isn't Kayla your number one collection? Oh, we need more time. People make time for the stuff they want to make time for. I was available. He was my number one. I was willing to make time. And then Mike, oh, the kisses, whatever, whatever. They both were just making excuses. That's just
Hey, that's real. That's
Yeah,
real.
and I think that's what we're getting to the bottom of, right?
Yeah.
Is because those little all this, oh, you kiss this one, you kiss that one, it's meaningless, it's nonsense, and it's pointless to talk about if you really have some serious intention with the person. So, that's what I wanted to get to, right? And listen, if you've ever seen me on this channel, I always say you're my favorite, you're my number one. And I review these shows, right? So,
oh, thank
and
you.
that's, so listen, we rock with you on here. So it's not about that. But I do think that whenever you come on a show like this or any kind of those dating shows, it's about what's the learning, and sometimes it's hearing some of the stuff that you don't want to hear that's going to help you, right? Whether it's we're talking about Sampson, Justice, you, whomever, it's the stuff that you don't want to hear is probably what you need to hear, right? And we're here, and I think what we're saying a little bit is like, look at some of these things that you may not naturally see as red flags, but they kind of are, because and that's why I asked you, what's he doing behind the scenes? Because if he's behind the scenes telling you, how much he likes you and being intentional, but once you show up to set, he's acting kind of, different. That to me, you got to be
Playboy.
consistent. You got to be consistent. So, my thoughts.
That's raw. That's raw. And bro, do you know what it is? It's when it is well. Like, Kayla, you know what? I appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming on here and braving the panel, and Sampson as well. Let me just be frank in it. 'Cause I know that I'm always gonna get in trouble with the cast because I'll be saying some stuff. Okay, but from a behavior standpoint, yeah, I think you kind of said it already, which is that if you make time for what you want, right? If you genuinely want the person, you're gonna make time. You're gonna pursue it, right? And from what we saw from up to episode 7 so far, we're on episode 7, from what we've seen so far of Mike, from what they've shown us, again, it could be editing, there could be more that we have not seen. Boy is playing. I'm gonna say it. I know people don't want to say it. I will say it. Boy is playing. Because if you really want something, you go after it. You understand? You go after it. And like Sean said, that whole kiss situation, it wouldn't stand in your way. You know what I mean? If it's a girl, what, you kiss another girl? What? We're all here dating, doing other things. Like, I'm dating Brandy, I'm bringing her presents. Baby, I want to know, Kayla, did he bring your present? I know editing didn't show that. Did he bring your present, girl?
No.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is what I'm saying. This is not. I don't need to see editing. This is that we know this. Me and Sean. If you talk to me and Sean as boys, we'll tell you this stuff for free. That was an indication on where his heart really lied. Man came with gifts.
Yeah, but maybe he brought gifts because he was trying to compete with Sampson, who's the known gift giver.
Nope. He don't need to. He and Brandy got. Sampson can admit himself. Him and Brandy's connections like that. He didn't need to bring a gift to upstage Sampson. It's no offense, Sampson. They weren't much of a competition. Him and Brandy are like, they're doing this. Like this. So when he brings a gift, that's him making his statement. That was his little show out. He didn't bring you no present? When he knows Randall's coming? Oh, you might not have known Randall was coming.
I don't get to see these things. I'm seeing them when you're seeing them. I don't know what he does on other dates with other people, whatever. There's only certain things that he tells me that I do know, that told me that I do know, but I don't know what's happening with the other dates. I don't know what, Randall and Mike are doing with their other connections. So I'm seeing it when you guys seeing it.
That's fair.
And I think ultimately, at the end of the day, right, he's doing you a favor. Because if the intention is not there, you shouldn't have to add to, right? You should know, like, if I'm a man and I'm interested in you, you shouldn't have to guess. There should be no mystery in terms of where my intentions lie with you, right? So it shouldn't be any guessing game, and I shouldn't be treating you any different, especially if I'm looking at you across a few other women. You should know how I feel about you. And you're either going to know it by what I say and how I do, or like a combination of the two together. And that's what we're seeing. There's some level of misalignment, but it's not about you, it's about him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if he's not choosing you, it's more about him than it is about you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I
everybody
get
knows
that.
that you know it. You're bad, right? So it's less about him, less about you, and more about him. And I think, my personal opinion, from my little humble view of the show, I
Mhm.
think he's doing you a favor.
So far in episode 7.
Well, remember, guys, I'm just doing the process. I didn't get to pick any of these men.
Mm.
So
I hear
I'm
that.
just working with what I got. Mm-hmm.
I hear that. Ain't no madness. Sampson, did you want to say something? My bad.
No, sir. No.
No? Okay, cool. So Kayla, you were explaining earlier on. I can play. I don't know if I have the clip. I might have the clip of when you said that they cut it up and they showed you obviously in tears a little bit after the date with your talking to your friend. Kind of give us a bit more understanding of what happened there between yourself and your friend, and you were talking and you was crying in that particular part of the scene.
Yeah, I mean, we just started, when the guys left, um, she started talking to me about what she was seeing with Mike and how, she could see the physical connection, but like based on his answers, that's all that there was there. And I'm still me personally, I'm still dealing with like this part in the dating world where like it seems like the guys that are actually good guys, that are the better guys, are not the most attractive ones. And so you have to kind of change your mind on what's attractive. And that's like a process that I haven't mastered as of yet. So I'm working on that in terms of just growing as a person and as a woman. And that was just kind of a growth moment of me like seeing my behavior and us talking about what I've been through. And that's really what it was. It definitely was not about either of those men that I had only known for a little over a month.
So amongst the cast of guys there, is Mike the only one that's more your type? Is there anybody else that's kind of like your type?
I mean, Randall is my type, and then Swayze was kind of my type. I'm tall, so yeah. And then I mean, Calvin really was my number one type there. Calvin was my type. Older, mature.
Amen, Calvin. Amen, Calvin.
Oh, that's the guy that got eliminated the first episode.
Well,
Who left? He left.
He left because of the issues with his mother. But yeah, he was older.
Oh, you
very
talked to him,
mature,
Kojo.
very good looking, very smart, well spoken, dresses very well. Like he was the person that if he would have been there, he would have been the person that I would have been with. But he had to leave.
All right.
He had to leave for
You're
personal
tall. How
reasons.
tall are you?
I'm 5'8.5".
Okay, well, you are tall. You and Jay could be neck and neck. Almost. He got about a good inch on you.
Kayla, I have a question. I want to know, honestly again, no cover up, just honestly, what was your interpretation of the stand-up situation? Because that was, for me, was mad. But I want to know from your perspective how it felt in that moment. Because you got called up to the middle to come and talk about the issue or whatever that happened the night before. I don't know what happened also the night before. Last night, couldn't even get an answer. I don't know what happened last night. I don't know if you can spill those beans. But listen, we're here to hear. But I want to know, in that moment when you got called up to the middle to come and have that conversation with Brother Mike, how did you feel?
So to clear up the night before, nothing happened the night before. People don't play with my motherfucking name, period. Okay? Secondly, I think that Mike was trying to show everybody that like we had a connection. I was over there with Randall all night. Like I think he was just trying to make it known that we have something going on. And I think he did, because what y'all don't see is after, when the guys were deliberating, me and all the ladies were in the back talking, and that's what all the ladies were saying. They were like, ooh, Mike must really like you. He did all of that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that was his intention to, make the people know, that we had something going on for real. So I don't think it came off that way because it was like a little bit awkward the way it started. But I think he was trying to like be a little territorial, like possessive, because I don't know, but me and Randall were sitting directly across from Mike and Brandy, directly across. They were in our direct view. So, and we had a good time that night. We were super flirty. We both were lit. We really enjoyed each other that night. And then, all of a sudden Mike wants to make it known that we got something going on. So, I don't know, but Brandy was happy about it. So,
Can I hit the question again? Just because I might have missed it, because I was trying to listen, but maybe I missed it. How did you feel? Because you kind of gave me a description of what happened around you, but how did you personally feel? So when he called you up, what was your feelings? When you get there, you're face to face with him, what was your particular feelings?
Well,
Just because I heard the description, sorry.
I was perplexed, first of all, why he was doing it. And then I was just kind of anxious because I was thinking he was going to say something. Like, I was thinking he was calling me up so I could say what I said, so that he can like confess his love, or at least confess, that I'm really feeling Kayla like that. And anybody that's checking for her, like, I'm checking for her. That's what I expected. That's how I felt. But that's the only reason that I got up, because I was just kind of like, okay, well, he must have something to say to me. Like, what does he have to say? And then when I went and sat back down, I was like, well, what was that for? Like, because he didn't say anything. Like, I said what I said, and then we hugged, and he went and sat back down. So, yeah, I mean, I just felt awkward because I didn't know what to expect. So I was anxious and, yeah, uncomfortable. But
I got another question for you. Before that moment, he kept on saying that, you're young. You're young, you're almost too young. Almost like he's saying you're too young for you. I want to know how you felt about that moment. How did you personally feel?
In the moment, I was just like, what? Because I know he's dated younger girls, like, since being divorced. I was kind of like, what? But then when I saw the digital exclusive on OWN of him talking to Brandy about what he wants, then I was like, oh. When he was like, I want to be in the house. I want to be cuddled up. I'm trying to be booed up. I was like, oh, because I'm young and I'm outside, and I want someone that wants to be outside with me. So that made sense to me, that if he wants to be inside, he wants to be booed up in the house all the time. I'm still young and I still want to be outside. So maybe that's why he thought that like dating a younger girl means you're going to have to be more active. Like, I have friends that are getting married. I got 2 weddings next year. I have another friend that's about to have a baby shower I'm going to in Texas. Like, I'm outside doing stuff. I'm living life. And I want someone to live it with me. So I don't know. Maybe that's what he was thinking. I have no clue. But age couldn't have been a real thing, because I'm like, okay, I'm young. What does that have to do with anything? I thought maybe it had something to do with kids. But then Brandy wants kids too. So I honestly don't know. You might have to get Mike up on here and see if he'll come on the show.
I know I'm gonna get on here. I'm gonna pass the I don't know. Maybe I may be hypersensitive. I really think I'm hypersensitive sometimes when I hear certain things, because I've played the games. I played the game when I was young. That when I start hitting certain things, my mind just quickly goes to, that's a game. That's a game. I'm gonna be honest with you, because you just told us that he has dated younger women, but then proceeds then to let you know verbally more than once, you're young. So what do we do? Let me keep quiet, because if I say some stuff, boy.
Well, like I said, there may have been other things said, but then they only highlight that, because that was something that came up when the girls and I were talking about the whole baggage thing. because that got back to him out of the ladies' lounge when all Sharif wasn't the only one. Multiple of us had said, "Woo, 3 kids, a divorce, that's a little bit of baggage." Not him, not the kids, not them, but just the situation as a young girl with no kids that you're walking into like a ready-made family. It's not just a relationship. You're walking into, it's a different situation. It's a lot more. So, I don't have a problem with it if it's someone I'm going to have kids with, but if they don't want kids and then they have that type of situation, that's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. So, they just pick and choose what they want to show. They didn't show any of that stuff in the lounge or any of that stuff. So,
All right, okay. Do you know? Coach, should I say it? Fuck, yeah, say it. So, I think I find you intriguing, Kayla. And I'll tell you why I find it intriguing. Because I keep asking about how you feel. And you keep shifting it away from how you feel to about how everyone else may potentially feel.
That was like months ago. I don't know how I exactly felt then because I know how all this shit is going to play out. And I only feel how I feel now. It's hard for me to think back, well, how did I feel then before I knew how it was going to play out, before I knew all these things that people said, before I knew how they were going to edit it up. It's really hard for me to say, how did I feel? I don't remember.
Yeah, but you don't need to worry about how they edited it because in that moment for you, when he said, because you're saying how you've forgotten how you feel, but you're able to re-articulate the actual moment. You're actually bringing in so many different perspectives in that moment, which haven't even been done on the show. You're giving me all of that. So you remember the moment. So I'm asking you, how do you feel? Because what you're giving me right now, I'll be honest with you, this is my honest perspective. There's some emotional disconnection that happens when I'm asking you this question. And it's happened more than once. So I'm not talking about telling me the absolute details of everything that happened. But I'm talking about just when you heard him say, obviously you're young, all I wanted to know was just how you felt. That was it. Don't worry about what anyone else has said or what the editing has shown. We just asking on that particular question. That's all we needed the answer for. And I'm not hitting you like that. I'm just saying I'm noticing something in terms of an answer that you do whenever whenever I ask you a question about someone that's emotional, you tend to kind of like separate the emotion from the situation. I don't know.
From it. I have emotionally disconnected from how I was feeling then for my own mental emotional health, especially because I have to rewatch the shit too. So I have like kind of separated then from now in order for me to be in a good place. In terms of having to like relive a lot of the things, but how did I feel when I don't know. I don't know. It kind of was like, not a red flag or anything, but it was kind of like, okay, well, that's something that's an issue. But at the same time, I didn't think about it too deep then. I didn't think deep into it because people say words, but then they do other things. So I just kind of like look past it. That could be one of the things that I need to learn from the process, to like listen to things that people say, but then because a lot of people's words don't match their actions. So it's like, can you listen to what people say? But yeah, it's kind of hard to identify what I felt in that moment, but I can tell you I didn't think much about it. I'm now having to think about it because they highlighted it, but I didn't think much about it in the moment. I kind of was like, boy, shut up. Like, that's not a thing. You don't care about that. But like now that it's overanalyzed, I'm kind of like, like, should I have felt some kind of way? Like, do I feel some kind of way? I don't really know.
That's real. Jay, I'm gonna let Jay handle. I believe, I think there's moments where I just need to take a step back. So I think I'm gonna let Minister J talk at this moment. I think this requires a feminine touch. I think I'm a bit too heavy-handed at the moment, so I want to take a step back. You know what I mean? I want to take a step back. Jay, could you just step in for me, because I feel like I'm heavy-handed a little bit right now. You know what I mean?
Ooh, you just threw me in there. I don't even know what the heck. Like,
no, because I think as a woman, you'll be able to maybe understand some of the processes of what's going on right now. Because I know what I'm thinking as a male, but I think it would be good to get another female's perspective, another woman's perspective, maybe, and maybe you understand where Kayla's coming from as well. It's just kind of, you know what I mean?
As I'm sitting here listening to it, it's hard. It's hard to go down the road with her, because going down a road with her would have to extend past what we've seen already.
Okay.
In a way. And I get her when she's saying she's kind of removed from that place, but as far as watching it back, we'll put it like this. So you're watching it back and you have to relive some of that in now time. And I get in now time, you might not recall your actual feelings in that moment. But like as you're standing there and you're watching everything play out now, and you're seeing that he's giving gifts to her, and you recall that you didn't get any. And I know in that moment you would have never known that what's going on in the other relationship and all the dates and all this stuff like that. But to know that he's seeing that, do you understand what Kojo means when he's saying that where his interest is lying in those moments at that time is more with Brandy than with you?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty apparent in terms of how he does things.
And so in this moment with that knowledge, can't go any further than that. I would not. How does that make you feel? Like, to say, if we used to step back into that time frame right now, and to say like that happened the next day and you found out she got gifts, you didn't get gifts. What would you have moved? How would you have moved with Mike? Opposed to it being so much later now. Would you have done the same thing and could just continue to move forward, or would you have done other things?
I probably would have done what I did, but I would have mentally been in a different space. Mm-hmm. Because it is a game, and thinking about my vote, I would have had to do the same thing I was doing. I would have had to.
Got you. I got you. We kind of said that earlier, that we, especially
so I would have did the thing, but I would have just,
mm-hmm.
I would have just been doing what I needed to do versus like actually liking him.
And we'll go back to what you were saying about with the realization with your friend. I know I've had these moments before where, you just feel like you just keep running into the wall, like I said before, as far as dating certain people, because we're attracted to what we're attracted to. And when you had that moment and you went down that road with the friend, like I said, I didn't feel like it was about Randall or Mike, but I just felt like you was just looking at yourself and assessing yourself overall, and realize, like, you know what, I am kind of moving down the same path. I'm doing some of the same things, and accepting the sanity is a little hard. Explain to those people that probably didn't get that and just feel like, oh, why is she crying over these men and all these things like that? Because I've heard a lot of people say that she was crying. Even I had to talk on Aubrey's channel with Ron, and he just felt that it was more so that you were crying over the men for some odd reason. And it wasn't.
How narcissistic of them. How narcissistic. I mean, if you just watch the episode, how does it feel like I was crying over them? Just based on what I said, this is hard because what if I choose him and he's not the one and it's the other guy? What if I choose the other guy and he chooses another girl? I was just frustrated. Y'all never been in an emotionally frustrated place? It had nothing to do with either one of them personally. But I was frustrated. I was very, very frustrated. And again, neither one of them was telling her that I was their top. So I was kind of like, well, what am I doing anyway? And it's just like I knew what I was doing though. I knew the other girls were putting in more work in terms of like, being in people's faces and calling and texting and every single moment, like, being extra. And I was just being myself, how I date guys in the regular world. Like, you call me, I call you, we talk every now and again, but I'm not like blowing you up. I'm not like, where are you? Can I come see you? Can I pull up on you? Like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, even though, things change, you just got to stay tuned. But like, I was just being myself. I wasn't playing the game in the way that I now understand that the show is, which is a male dominated chauvinistic type of show. And we're there to compete for the men and them competing for us. Ugh, no, you know what I mean? Like they edited like, oh, the girls can't explore their options, but the guys can. So I just did not know that is where I was. That's the world that I was in at that moment. I didn't know that if you kiss somebody else that now you are ineligible to be somebody else's partner because you kissed someone else. I mean, I just did not know that that's how they were going to edit it up on a show that's about grown ass people. They're not 20-year-olds that like get little, oh, you talking to her more than me. You kissed her, not me. Like on these like dating shows that have like 20-year-olds on them. Like I thought this was a show for grown people. So, that was just kind of, I'm just confused.
Well, you were right, Kayla. That is not a ready to love thing. That was a Mike thing, and that's what we're talking about, right? That whole kiss foolishness that he kept going around about was nothing. For all of us even watching, we were like, "Why is he even doing that?" Right? So that was more on Mike than it was about the show's process. I mean, yeah, did they film it? Did they highlight it? Sure. But it was him saying it and making those comments more than once. So that's the kind of part that we just, we don't like for you is the fact that if he's really being this nice guy behind the scenes or a guy that's intentional, but then when it shows up to your dates, he keeps picking at the fact that you kissed somebody else and then almost not, it just didn't make sense.
I don't know about intentional, but we were vibing hard and talking hard a lot. I'm trying to think back to it now. Again, this is months ago. I'm trying to think back to it now. Was like, I mean, at this point, not intentional, just like really good vibes and good energy and could talk all day and like could relate on a lot of things and like we just vibed, we just meshed, like, we just had good chemistry and good conversation and we talk like real talk in person, like we talk like, how you would talk to your homegirl, like, or your homeboy, like we were just very comfortable with each other. I don't know about intentional though. I don't know about that.
Okay. That's fair.
I think, and I'll be reading the chats right now, and I think, to be honest, and I'm going to clarify this for the chat, Mike likes Kayla, but he is afraid. So he picks Brandy because that's a safer choice. That he likes Kayla. He wouldn't be carrying on like a elementary kid picking on the fact that she kissed somebody if he didn't like her. It would not bother him because if it was just to say, oh, I need your vote, he would do the bare minimum. He is bothered by the fact that she kissed somebody else to the degree that it keeps coming up so much that editing keeps playing it. So y'all got to understand that. Like, he actually likes her. He just doesn't feel safe with her because, like he called her, that's a fantasy. She's a male fantasy. He doesn't want to compete for her love every single day. And like Sean said, it's a Mike thing. He could be mad when I say it, but it's an insecurity thing. And until he come up on that, that's what he's going to deal with. He's going to settle for somebody. And I don't want to make Brandy feel bad because she's a beautiful woman or whatnot, but he's going to settle for less than what he really wants. because it's a safer bet. So I don't know what all in the chat want to say, but you guys could keep saying that he just likes Brandy more. He wouldn't be carrying on like this. He would just focus on his thing and give Kayla just a bare minimum for the vote.
Oh no, ain't no way. Ain't nobody, ain't no dudes that's not attracted to her and relatively interested. I think it just comes down to what you're saying. And that's why we're like over like magnifying these little things, because they're all signs of somebody that there's attraction there, but it's like you don't think you can either handle the person, or you want to cut them down to a point where you can handle them or where they can be manageable to you, because there's certain things that you don't want. This is the same guy, mind you, within the first 2 episodes, says that he likes his woman to be seen and not heard. I ain't never spent 5 minutes in a room with you, Kayla, but that ain't you. Right? So if he sees you and he sees that you show up attracted to him, he's going to play with you a little bit. And again, it's less about you and more about him, because he's telling you what he wants.
I mean, he's entitled to what he wants, and as am I.
Of course.
I mean, I don't know. We've talked about it, and so he was saying that like the comment we were saying in terms of a music video fantasy wasn't necessarily derogatory, because I am a professional dancer that has been in multiple music videos, award shows. I have a very esteemed resume of being a background and support dancer and ballerina. So I think that that's more so what he was, or this is what he's telling me in terms of that's what he was saying, that like, you know, I am in videos with major superstars. I have been on tour with Pitbull. I'm that girl. I am a music video fantasy. You know what I'm saying? But I think the way that they cut it, it makes it seem derogatory. Also, because no one knows that I'm a professional dancer. Nobody knows that. So then they're like,
ain't no way.
Oh, yeah,
ain't no way.
We talked personally. He knew much. He knew a lot about me. We talk all the time. Like,
Kayla.
Yeah.
No, I love you. No. I've got to intervene as a big brother. I've got to just say it straight. Okay, I'm saying big brother. I'm only a year older. Listen, that, and Sean can back me up on this. Jay can back me up on this. If, let's say, for instance, okay, so you have done background work in dancing, right? Okay, so when I put you as a juxtaposition to Brandy, right, and say you're like a video vixen, what he's really saying is, he said it with the words. He didn't mince his words. You're the fantasy, right? And what that means for us, I'm going to be very, unfortunately, I'm going to be a bit crude when I say this. When you say fantasy, and I told this girl the other day, I said most men don't marry their fantasies because it's a fantasy. It's meant to stay as a fantasy. I'm meant to enjoy it and leave it. What he's done is gone, you're the fantasy that I would do a ting with. This is where I will come home to. I'm going to put it very blank again. This is the woman I wife. This is the woman I cheat with. I'm just going to be, I know it's really crude. I'm so sorry, right? But I want to put it in very black and white, plain. Okay? That's what he, in a sense, is actually saying. Now, he may come out and say, he meant to say, oh no, because you actually are a dancer and did it. That is beautiful manipulation right there, because he knows exactly what his intent was when he made that comment. It's a juxtaposition. Language is very purposeful when you say it. All right, so you can't skip around it. So when he put that juxtaposition of you're the video vixen fantasy, and this is this woman who's like this, what he's saying is, girl, I can do all the sexual things and energy. You got sexual chemistry with you. It's beautiful. It works. I'm attracted physically, sexually. I might even be mentally stimulated by you, but I'm not ready to commit to you and this particular person. But this one, I can handle this one. This was good for me, right? So when, as a man,
that's more on him, not me, because what you think that because I'm extremely attractive and outgoing that you can't attain me. That's a you thing. You ain't that guy. You don't feel like you that guy that could keep me away from all the ballers and all the people that I be around. You don't think that you can lock it down. You think you would get left. So you're gonna go with the safer choice that is obsessed with you, that never had nobody that looked like you ever treat her good. So you're gonna go with that. I mean, I don't want to get like, because people are gonna think I'm like superficial or cocky or whatever, but like, I'm that girl. My ex was in the league. I'm not one of these regular girls. I'm just not. So I understand, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. That's just, he's just not that guy.
It's not a bad thing, but okay, I'm gonna be real straight direct now, because no, I'm gonna be direct, Jay. I know. I want to say I'm not gonna save her, but I want her to know that this is when we said it, you kind of defended it by saying, not defended it, but you actually brought up what he said, right? And you didn't interpret that what he said was false. So when you don't interpret what he's saying as absolute false and baloney as an explanation for what he actually said, then I have to look at you and go, babe, you're not reading deeply into what he's actually saying to you, right? Because his explanation's off. It don't make sense, right? The explanation that he's given, right, is a rationalization of something that didn't need to be rationalized, because he made it very clear what he was actually really saying. And you have to just take what he said and be like, oh, no, I know it's about him, but I'm also looking at you in terms of where you're interpreting the information. So that's why I had to explain it again and be like, I know it's about him, but the way that you're also interpreting it, I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, let me put it this way. If I go into my player mode right now, Kayla, it don't matter how bad you are, but what you're showing me right now, you're vulnerable, because you're green. Because everything this guy is kind of doing and saying, and what where you're reinterpreting it back. Because I'm like, baby, are you not seeing where he's? You shouldn't believe what he's kind of saying. It should be, you should almost be put up on game already. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying you're bad. Again, this is not you're bad. This is not. I'm not insulting you. I'm not saying any of those things. I more want to just make sure that, yo, you know this game, because it's a game. That when you watch it back up into episode 7, if you watch it back up to episode 7 so far, this is only going to confirm what you probably already felt. But now you can see it. You can actually have confirmation of what you probably actually felt at the time. You know what I mean? Because we're saying that some of the things he's doing as a game, and then you respond with, but we talked a lot and we did this and we did that, and I'm like, babe, I hear you, but when you look it back now, what's happened? Oh, sorry, apologies. What's happening? You know what I mean? I don't want to be offensive. I hope I'm not being offensive, but I want to be direct, because I was like, I feel like if I be
but I
around
don't think
the edge,
I don't think that you are thinking of it macro. This is not my regular life. I'm on a show. These are my only options. This is a game I have to play to stay here. All of these things impact how I do things. This is just not how regular life, kind of is. Like, I had to deal with what I had to deal with. I mean, in real life, shoot, they get blocked. Like, I just blocked them. But what am I supposed to do in this instance?
In real life, would you have spotted Mike? No, in real life, I'm going to challenge you. In real life, would you have bypassed Mike?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Mike doesn't want to have kids. I don't care what he tell nobody. He don't want no kids. He don't want no more kids.
Okay, beautiful. So up until episode 7, not anything else. Up until episode 7, we're not talking about the rest of the show because we can't talk about that. Up until episode 7, because you're telling me that you're on game now. So up until episode 7, he's playing a game, you're playing a game. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it there then. I won't say anything else. All right.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's it's the show. Like, it's the process. There are rules. These are the people that have been selected for me. I don't get to pick my dates. I don't get to pick who I see. I don't get to pick who I get to talk to. I'm just doing the best that I can at this point. I don't know what y'all want me to do. Like,
we don't do anything.
I have no control in this situation unless I wanted to be Mariah Carey. I have to go along with like what it is. So y'all just have to keep watching to see where it goes, but I'm doing the process.
That's real. I appreciate it. That's real. I appreciate it. Thank you, Kayla. I appreciate it, man. I honestly, and
Thanks,
it takes guts
guys,
to come
for
on here.
having me.
You know what I mean?
You guys have a safe
Don't worry,
night.
we'll be having you back here again. Don't
Thank
worry.
you.
Kayla. All right.
All right.
You still
All
my
right.
fave.
And wait, Kayla, don't do me like
Yeah.
LJ. You're ignoring my DMs, blood. Don't do
Wait,
that.
what?
I'm not LJ. I'm not LJ. You're ignoring my DMs, bruv. If I message you again, this is the last time I'm gonna message.
Wait, message
You
me
understand?
where?
On Insta.
Oh no, I haven't even.
If you
looked
do
at
me like
Insta all
LJ,
night.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm go check on Insta for you.
No,
and
she's
I'll
doing
make
you
sure
like
I get
Looney.
back.
Looney
Do me
did
like Looney,
LJ.
sorry, yeah, do me like Looney. Treat me like LJ, bro.
I did want to address some of the comments though right before I go.
Okay, go for it.
Hold on.
You can tell me the time and I can bring it up.
No, I mean I saw the comment. Somebody said, "Oh fuck, where did it go?" Somebody said something about. Oh my god, let me find it because it's just, ma'am. Stop it. Like, oh, somebody said something about like you're sexy or whatever, you're not giving wife material. Why does this show keep referring to the wife or the reality and being like not amazing?
How you mean?
Like, why is it seems like it's a negative that I look good, that I'm sexy, that I'm flirty. It's like that means you're not wife material. You look way too attractive. Like, I don't understand. To be wife material, do I need to like get a little bit uglier? Like, what in the heck is this notion that because I'm young and beautiful that I'm not wife material?
Kayla about to bring the spice and the
No,
fire.
I just want to know, ma'am.
I love it.
Because you're making marriage sound dreadful to me that nobody's going to want me until I'm not cute no more. Like, stop it, because your girl's been engaged and was the one that called engagement off. So don't do me like that because you don't know. But yeah, I just don't like that sentiment because I believe Brandy is very attractive. And for to say like that I don't know. And then for someone else to say something about like, oh, if you're that girl, you know, whatever, in real life, men don't have to, their egos don't have to be tested like this. So you saying that I'm not that real girl in real life because the men aren't flocking to me on the show? On the show, the men had to compete, and men don't, doing that directly, men don't have the confidence to do that. In real life, he don't know who you seeing. He don't know nothing that you doing outside of it just being you and him. You talking about I'm not that girl. I'm that girl. He doesn't know what I'm doing. He don't have to deal with the other dude that I'm seeing in his face. So remember, this is a television show. Okay, that's all.
Maybe it's your confidence mixed with your sexiness that makes it intimidating for others to handle and find you something. I don't know. Child,
No,
I'm
but
both
you're right,
sexy and wifey material, so I don't know.
It takes that guy for me to sit back. Weakness.
Don't worry, Kayla. I'll chat to you after because we're going to talk about this aspect. I'm going to let you have your hit. Don't worry about it.
What?
Is there anything else you wanted to address? Anything else that you want to address?
I can't
You should
remember.
address
I
it.
can't find it in the chat, so I guess that means God says no.
Well, you know what? We
Chris.
here every Saturday. You can
Every
address
Saturday.
every Saturday. Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so anyone else that didn't get to smoke, I'll save it for you for next time.
All right.
Don't do too much now.
She's a new smoke artist, coach.
There's still space on the panel for you, Kayla, if you want to ever be on there. You let me know.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool.
For free. We don't pay here. Just in case you're looking for a payment, ain't no payment here, baby. It's free. Okay.
You know, and listen.
Wow.
You talking about how you catching flights, right?
Huh?
You catch flights. We about to go on tour. So listen, if you're in the area, Atlanta, New York, DC, first 2 weeks of October, come check us out.
I'll be in DC for Howard Homecoming the weekend of the 22nd. That whole week, actually. When are y'all gonna be there?
We'll be
DC, we're
DC
there from
is
13th
it
to
the
17th.
15th or the 16th, Coach?
I think it'll be the Saturday, isn't it? It's the
Yeah,
Saturday,
yeah.
that last one before the 17th. So I think the 16th or 15th.
We might have to figure that out. Atlanta's a little bit closer to Miami, and Atlanta's my hometown. So,
Hey.
Oh, we're in Atlanta on the
Kayla is
6th.
beautiful.
So
Just passed some humble. But
on the
Kayla
10th.
is love. LQ says Kayla is beautiful, but find some humble pie. What men on this show? You know what? No, I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, don't let them get you. You know from Lapeef, Kayla. You can't indulge all the comments. Don't indulge them.
Don't let them drag you out.
Speaking of Lapeef,
don't let them get you.
Speaking of Lapeef, I gotta go back to my job.
Say hello to Lapeef and the man then for me. Yeah.
I'm gonna say hello.
I got a bone to pick with Anton. Tell Anton I got a bone to pick with me and him. You know.
Well, you should come on the show on Thursday and pick the bone yourself. I'm sure that JR.
Is it open? Is it open panel on Thursday? I'm around.
No, it's not open, but you can speak with JR.
You abandoning maths. We do maths on Thursday. Right.
I can take a 20-minute journey. Don't worry about it. Kayla, tell him I'm coming there on Thursday. Let me tell him that to reserve a seat.
Okay, I will send him a message right now. Actually, let him know that you want to pull up on the panel. But you know how Anton and Logic are, so prepare yourself.
Oh, I've seen how they are.
Okay, all right.
I got you.
See y'all later.
All right.
I appreciate you.
Good night.
Easy, Kayla.
Good night.
Love, sis. Yeah. Man, woo, that's a night. Woo. You see? Look at that. You know what? Who says I don't bring you elite content, guys?
That's it. The elite
content right there. You know what I'm saying?
Bring them out.
Bring them out.
It's hard to talk with bad rails in your mouth.
Woo! Man, that was interesting. You know, I mean, how you guys feeling, man? How you not feeling? You not feeling right?
Yeah.
Yo, I don't know if it's the hoodie or what, but I'm sweating, but I'm feeling cool at the same time.
I ain't popping Molly, but I'm sweating.
Coming like it's Def Jam. Listen, yeah, I mean,
this is Dapper Dan.
Yeah, listen, it was a instant live. Yeah, I've said all I need to say anyway. We'll chat behind the scenes, but I've said all I need to say. But it was interesting, very interesting, and it goes back to our original first conversation where we said at the very beginning, right? It's very rare anyone turns it 180, and I don't think anybody has turned it 180. It's we see you on the show and we see certain characteristics, and that's what we see. You know what I mean? Hey, I feel good. I feel better. I feel like I've exercised some demons there. Was there anything? I don't think there's anything else on the show. I think there wasn't much that happened on this particular part of the show. We did part 1 already, so we've addressed part 2, and we had the live people come in there to address it as well. So yeah, any last thoughts?
I don't know. Did Sean want to address anything from part 1? Because I know he missed it. Anything specific?
He can address in his benediction.
Amen.
We got talking to do behind the scenes. He can talk about it behind then. Anything in part 2 though? Anything in part 2 that we've missed?
No, I don't think so. I don't.
Okay, someone called me a Yoruba demon. I told you guys, if I'm on the show, what I say I will do? I'm a person that presses the buttons. I will do it. But let me get Sean to do the benediction. I think it's time for us to go into our We need to go backstage.
We need to go to our prayer room.
We need to go into the war room, sir. So if you can lead us into worship, just take us into that benediction, sir.
All right, folks, we're gonna keep it sweet and simple. We had a great night tonight. Look, first of all, people are who they are, and if you're concerned about not being who you are, then you need to look in the mirror and examine yourself. If you've heard it more than once, there could be some truth. Don't dismiss, right? And we always say this. We saw it tonight. We love the folks that joined. Feedback is a gift, right? Feedback is a gift, whether at work, in your personal life. Feedback is a gift. So when somebody is sharing something with you, bring down the wall and open your ears and be willing to listen, right? Because it's likely you're going to hear something that's going to help you, right? Obviously, you want to measure who it's coming from. Secondly, we've seen it multiple times in different relationships in this Ready to Love game. Want who's wanting you, but also match the actions with the words. The actions and the words must align, and if they're not aligning, then you need to pay attention to the flag, right? And don't feel like somebody's actions are a reflection of you. My actions are a reflection of me, and your actions are a reflection of you. If I hurt you, it speaks about me and not about you. And please, guys, please support our tour. We need New York to fill up. All of our New York people, we are working on a New York City location. We're about to lock it and load it. It's in Manhattan. So please don't hesitate. We need your support to get out there and get New York filled the way New York needs to be filled and represented. Back to you, Coach.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much, man. Listen, it's been crazy, guys. Listen, you always know I like to add value to you guys' experience when we watch these shows. So I really want to honor my panelists as well, Sean, Jay, and Seaway, for always being downright humble and professional at the same time, and keeping it lit all in one go. Do you know what I mean? It's a pleasure to do work and to do these kind of lives with you guys as well. It makes it fun. I can't lie to you. But yeah, listen, it's been great, guys. This impromptu kind of live where you get people coming through. This is the kind of stuff that's quality. And if you want to see more kind of conversations like this where we can get deep, where we can talk about things, you've seen how we hold people accountable. No matter what, if I like you, I like you. If I don't like you, I'm going to hold you accountable. This is the kind of conversations we have with each other. All right. So if you want to make sure you want to be somewhere where you're going to enjoy yourself, have deep conversations, stimulating conversations, get involved with fun festivities and enjoyment, then you need to grab your tickets. All right. I've pinned it up as well for you guys. Grab your tickets for ATL and New York. Get on board and get yourself involved. What's gonna come? You know what I'm saying? In October, it's gonna be a good time. So, man, I'm just telling you this now. I got to go. We got to go. We got to go. We got to discuss some things. So we got to go. But listen, it's been brilliant. It's been amazing. It's been powerful. We appreciate you guys, honestly. And we can't wait to see you guys on Thursday night as well. Hopefully, Kayla will message them so I can go on there for a few minutes and have some conversation. I'm sure I'm gonna get slaughtered by the men on there, but it doesn't matter. We just need to spread a little truth, a little bit sprinkle of that dust of truth over there. You know what I mean? But listen, it's been powerful. It's been amazing. It's been great. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, guys. We'll see you again on Thursday and then on Saturday, and we'll enjoy it as always, guys. Much love and appreciation. But let me not leave you without leaving you with a funny video. You already know what it is. Good vibes all the time.
And baby girl, I hope you got the feeling. Vision's blurred, but all I see is you.